Traigo a los gangsters más gangsters de la zona y vengo con la familia gang. ¿Cómo dice? Llaman al rey.
Traigo el mensaje puro y crudo para el momento. No palabras vanas que rompen los sentimientos. Lucharé y derribaré los muros del lamento. Pídeme pues te daré los sueños que están muertos. Nunca el demonio dio mensajes de amor, pero tampoco los dio el ángel que nos abandona. Quizás miremos diferente el reloj, pero tu cielo es el infierno donde el amor murió. Political violence, criminal silence, physical redemption hasta que acabe el baile. Typical style, musical fraile. Mucha es la promesa en la que se han llevado el aire. Love and love and love, siente verdad como doy mi corazón. No more, no more, no more. It's a reggae cypher, feed the world. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Fue que me brotaron alas y ganas de volar. En las buenas mi terreno lleno, en las malas solar. Un muro que decorar, mis hermanos me sirven de guía, mi estrella polar. Guarda los hilos, me duele hasta respirar. Solo quiero ver verdad. Sigo buscándome lejos de lo que piensas. Más fácil de lo que crees, el esfuerzo trae recompensas. Vale la experiencia si es intensa. No tires de la cuerda si está tensa. Miraban al ocaso con tristeza. Las estrellas devolvían con grandeza su mirar. Nos vimos floreciendo en la maleza. La belleza de las piezas y comienzan a encajar.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
51, 52, con un micro de bambú, más buta que passepartout. Me siento en la old school. It's magnetic kung fu, it's a reggae magnatur. Por las almas sonrientes que acompañan a Zazú. En bambalinas y balú, son rimas de menú, no salidas de Benur, pero calidad y del sur. Homie, always lonely, but I feeling like a gangsta. 52, 53, a mí sí me ves venir, por eso me llaman King, ese fue mi devenir. De marchar o seguir, nunca tuve que elegir, la music me eligió a mí, no tengo nada más que decir. Saifa, Puniga, Loba, Grimble, Fire, Killaman, Smoker, Chusta, Feel Light, Rasta, Child Metal, Kimanes, Original a Reggae Saifa again.
Interna en la villa del pingüino, de los que alinean la antena y los que se encuentran dormidos zarandean tus emociones cual barril de vino, cosas feas quizás en tus ideas, pero aquí no, yo no atino, disparo sin mirar a todo aquel vampiro que el diente quiera hincarme, bro. Si lo digo, no es para pensar, sino para aclarar lo que tú siempre estás pensando. Acaba el tan magnífico, imposible de torcer metal, so start my friend, yo. Reggae warriors again, making connection after connection, my new world, creating their freedom from them, me more. Nanny boy represent this game.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz
No
de
hace
nuevo
falta
aquí.
presentación si existe nivel. Sobreviviendo en Babilonia escribí al papel mis problemas cuando al final pude entender que para ser feliz solo tienes que querer, que solamente hay una vida y es para vivir. Busca siempre una alternativa para seguir. No dejes nunca que te digan que no es así, y prende un poco de sativa para estar chill. Ey, superando ansiedades con el humo de gancha, manchas de un pasado trágico en la cancha. Seguimos siendo fuertes, su mierda no me engancha, mientras otros esperando a que lleguen en lancha. No matter where you come, no matter where you come from, solo importa que prestes atención a este sound. Desde the original, Killer Man al mando. Oh na na na.
Mira, soy un warrior, sonido legendario. Disfruto cada segundo cuando me subo al escenario. Tengo fuego en los labios, sigo cual mercenario. Pasos de gigante y cora revolucionario. Siento que es necesario, suena el reggae en los barrios, para que cale el mensaje y para salvar a los más sabios. Entre mi imaginario, quemo cheques bancarios. Si vienes con la mala vibra, mejor bro, cambia tu itinerario. Ya, 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 ya. Cuando ruge el león suena la música real. Venimos con el ya, 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 ya. Sonido de guión es el sonido original. Ya, 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 ya. Reggae de corazón es el que se hace en unidad. Ya, 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 ya. What time is it? De reventar el beat. Reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? De reventar el beat. Reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Se ve tan mal.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright.
Cuando miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos lo voy palpando. Cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti.
Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente que la mala dijo que estaría presente, fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena a mi tú. A mi lado tengo soldados fumando de su paluru, ni un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio se matan vestidos de emporio. Yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trocolor tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición, como no voy a aprovechar los códigos que llegan, los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace juntar las ganas que siempre tuvimos para iluminar a la gente que se le ocurra y la malla armonizar. Vinimos para dar fuego a la que no nos va a quemar.
Arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos. que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen vienes más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés. El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. You guys can hear me now. Hopefully you hear that again. Hold on a second. I forgot about that.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
Haven't played that in a while. I saw you, Rick. Thank you, bro. I haven't talked to you in a bit, man. Was wondering about you. Experto! Still trip on that name, man. That's crazy. ¿Qué onda, brother? Let's see. So, I guess we can get to it. All right. It's so-called middle of the week. You know what I mean? If you believe in the Gregorian calendar. And there's some things to cover. This is going to be more of a kind of 3-section piece. Some of you will probably be familiar with what I'm going to show at the end. Hey, what's up, Kwam? Shalom, bro. Cubale, saludos a todos, right? You guys that are out there saying what's up. You that are in secret hiding or frenemies, enemies, whatever. I don't care. I already know, man. And nothing surprises me anymore. Honestly, for real. Anyways, everything that I do in this channel, for the most part, has a purpose. Like the initial songs or the so-called interlude, like the gentleman speaking in Spanish, he's talking about la religión, why it's invented. Regarding the also, gente en los ferrocarriles, Pancho Villa, Zapata, all that concept. There's a reason why I do that. When I started the channel, because officially it'll be 2 years. 2 years in 24 days. Shalom, hey, shalom, Masha. Officially in 2 days. 23 days, I guess. And when I left that dungeon, or like the scriptures I use when the ravens feed you. When I left the ravens, right? I didn't know what to do. There was a lot of chaos. A lot of people believed in a lot of different things. It's proven. So I started the channel because I did not see what I have showed you guys. And I also only saw the regurgitating things that everybody typically saw. They're the same old, same old, same old. Those are facts. Nobody was really bringing out anything that was really even intriguing anymore, because it was all typically what these so-called camps were bringing out. Your typical material, your typical books, all that stuff. So I just wanted to show y'all an angle that I experienced, because I was born down there and I lived down there for several years until they brought me here. So la costumbre, la cultura y la experiencia te permite, allows you to bring some of that and to bring it into so-called fruition to today. So whenever I put these things together, there's no narrative. What I simply do is, if I'm reading a chapter and something triggers a thought, and then it takes me somewhere. Or I'm reading a book and it takes me somewhere, just like that. So again, for you guys that are not familiar with this channel, this is strictly, like, for example, I'll say it like this. If you guys do believe in the Bible, because I do, okay? There are, which one is it? Hold on a second. Oh, there are 7 churches, okay? So as you guys remember, greetings to the 7 churches, okay? So the way that I look at it is there's 7 continents, you know what I'm saying? So I focus on our continent. That's what I focus on. I don't know what really goes on out there. I can only give you historical facts and try to bring that to the understanding of why and how that connects with us. I can do that. But I'm not going to focus on these other so-called churches, quote unquote, or continents, because we don't know. I'm not there. But I've traveled enough to give y'all some perspective here and experience enough to show you guys something. Because it's not just what we've been showed here in the America North part. It's everything. Everything matters. So again, I focus here because this is what we are here. Our gente here. This is what I know. Okay, so here the church of Pergamum, the church of Thyatira. Forgive me if I mispronounce these words. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you the church of Sardis. You know what I mean? Like the church of Philadelphia. They focus on each church. They focus on themselves. Their job was to make sure that they fed that herd where they're at locally. Why am I saying all this? Well, because the reason I also started this channel is because I never started this channel saying that this is the 12 tribe chart ox. I never taught that here. Never, not once did I put blacks and Hispanics, we're the same people. Never. Matter of fact, I got attacked for that often. But I'm like, y'all got your own channels. Let me focus on our church, quote unquote. So what I do is I take history, I read it, and then I say, how does it affect us? What does this have to do with our oracles? Because technically that is what we're doing here, correct? I mean, that's if you guys understand where I'm going, isn't this a part of the curses in regards to being also in a lost mind? You know what I mean? Like groping at noonday, Deuteronomy 28:29. And you shall grope at noonday as the blind gropes in darkness. Now, by the way, you guys also know that I use different translations, not just King James, okay? I don't just go there, in case you guys don't know this. I'm using different ones. So as you can see, I'll click here. If you guys have a Windows app or Windows computer, this is a great tool to use, eSword, one of the best I've ever used, okay? So as you can see, I'm using Sefer right now. But anyways, it doesn't matter. My point being is this. Deuteronomy 28:29. And you shall grope at noonday as the blind grope in darkness. And you shall not prosper in your ways. And you shall only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save you. No man, only the Most High. So even in our own lost mentalities, somehow, some way, wisdom will walk with you in a crooked manner. We understand it from Wisdom of Solomon, correct? So Deuteronomy 28:46 says this. And they, let me repeat that. And they, what is they? And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. What? What's going to be a sign? Have you ever thought of that? You guys ever really think about what's the sign? Maybe some of you guys are familiar with where I'm going with this. But as you know, this is here in Deuteronomy 28. So what signs is he talking about? The curses. Who you should be serving. Where they're from. A religion, a doctrine, of people with a different language that we've never met before. You know what I'm saying? We've never done that before. Unto a nation which neither now nor thy fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone. I added the of. So these signs are telling us that these people in our time now, that they will be taking our trees and our land, right? And these strangers, verse 43, that is within you shall get above you very high, and you shall come down very low. And he shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. So clearly we see who is the lenders and who is the borrowers. And then it says, and he shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Now we know here in our church, here in this continent, Mexico is known for el trasero de Estados Unidos. So again, he shall be the head and you shall be the tail. So as far as I know, when I came to this country here, this part here, I was Billy Bad. I was like, yeah, I was born in Guadalajara. Yeah, what's up? I found out real quick, it don't matter. I'm a beaner. None of that mattered. Even though I was from a nice city, it didn't matter. And he shall lend to you and you shall not lend to him. So now, again, where am I going? These things will be a sign upon you. Who? What? These people. And they'll still be here. These people that we have no clue about. Now, others are saying that, oh, no, well, we're the people of the Bible, and because of this, and that, and we rule Europe. Okay, sounds good. Then that means that you should be serving other religions that you're not familiar with, that you or your fathers have never known. And you see, I know that this is very applicable to us, on top of many other things. So what I like to do is I like to point out, what are the signs? What sign is it? Because obviously it says here in Psalms 83 that some other people from afar, from Deuteronomy 28 will say that from afar, from the end of the earth, how they're going to get here, right? And it says who they are. So it's not just one nation, it's several. They consult. You guys are very familiar with Psalms 83. In case you're not, they've taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. Now, we know that there was a time where they didn't know how to get here. Based on Diodorus Siculus, historically speaking, the Carthaginians or the so-called Philistines, Carthaginians, let's just say that for now, because I can't even say that other word. They had a knowledge and understanding of the land over here, but they never came here because they know that there was people here. So don't be misled by what other people tell you. Okay, and those people are actually connected to this Psalms 83, in case you don't know, because they are here today. And they came in 1492. And I'm going to show you once again. And I'm going to show you that, look, you guys, whoever you are, whatever doctrine you believe in, you can't sever these people, these consulted against us type of people, these Edomites, these Yishamites, right? Well, as a matter of fact, I'll read it this way, because even I have a hard time pronouncing it and saying it. Edom, Ishmael, Moab, Hagarenes, Habal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines, and Tyre. And Ashur. They all have joined together. So then again, I look at Deuteronomy 28. What are the signs, man? And I'm looking around. I have eyes. I have ears. It's very clear. It's very claro way who these people are. So let's start off with one batch of people that we know it's clear. But you see, I'm starting to sense that we're moving away from what the scriptures are talking about. It's like we're picking and choosing what seems to matter and what doesn't seem, what fits, what feels good and what doesn't. Yo, listen, if you're going to read this book, you got to take all of it. You can't pick and choose. You can't question Paul and say you're about the Messiah. You can't say you're about the Messiah, the MESHI-ACH, MESHI-ACH, and go around whoring and thinking you can deal with prostitutes. Matter of fact, the Messiah was never married, and more likely he practiced celibacy. So did Paul. And you guys can't pick and choose. I don't understand Hebrew, so forget that. Oh, I'd rather deal with the Old Testament. I will listen to or read Enoch. I will then again pick up the Dead Sea Scrolls, even though those books confirm the New Testament as well. It's very crazy what I'm seeing. And again, it goes back to what I initially said. 2 years ago, I started this channel because I saw chaos. Nobody agreed. I would watch whatever channel you put me in, so-called Hispanics, and every single window that I would see had a different doctrine, believed in something totally different. None of them agreed. Scriptures are clear. Can two walk together if they don't agree? Right? But there's also the birds of a feather flock together. And that's not a good thing in a lot of ways because it tells you. And that's why I'm leading to this point. I know I'm talking a lot, but I just want to clear this up. Pay attention to the messaging. Don't pay attention to me. Don't worry about what I look like or what I don't look like or what I sound like. Don't pay attention to the message. Look what I'm showing you and you decide. Because again, there are 7 churches, metaphorically speaking, or even, hey, a matter of fact, I'll even show you, or I'll say it scripturally. Some of you guys like that. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Job 11:6. And it says here, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom. Now we understand that there were certain people that would be elevated based on their humility, which is why Moses was the most gifted in all this wisdom outside of the others, because he was such a humble man. Now that means disciplined. You don't add or take to the word. And he said he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is, meaning there's parables in this life as well. The people that you guys are dealing with, like for example, you're listening to me, right? You're paying attention. There's a spirit in me right now. You got to determine if it's a good spirit or a bad one, because guess what? Scripturally speaking, guess what? I could also be one. The 2 Corinthians 11:13. For such are false prophets, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of MESHI-ACH. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into the angels of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Yeah, so if I am misleading you, then guess what? All of that I will pay. So whoever you guys are out there trying to, get your shit going on class, whatever, you're doing class, you've been doing class forever, whatever, I don't know. But everything that you're saying is being effing recorded. Everything. Make mistakes, hey, you clean up, you change, good for you. But again, don't pay attention to what I look like. Listen to the message. So let's go back. Deuteronomy 28 said what? These people will come from afar. Okay, sounds good. It said there would be signs for us to see who these people were. Psalms 83 says, sounds perfect. It says here that these are the nations that more likely are going to try to work against us. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. Now, there's one more thing that we're forgetting. There's one more thing that we are forgetting. Because just like as I said, we have a pattern to look at. You also cannot ignore the things that are in front of you. You can't do that. You can't pick and choose. Ox. Isaiah 30:9. This is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which is the oracles, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. You speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. Narrative. I don't really want, I don't understand. Nah. You know what? I'm going to take this verse and 1 or 2 words, and then I'm going to justify my doctrine based on that. Just like John 3:16. Isn't this what Christianity started? Some of you guys see one word, and all of a sudden now you base your doctrine on that one word. Just like John 3:16. This is not a sign. If God loved the world, we wouldn't see the shit that's going on right now. Excuse my language. But people want to run to see one word, and that's it. One word, and that's all. So what I'm doing is I'm going to the scriptures, because you guys like to say, oh, I read the Bible. No, I don't think you guys do. Revelation 3:1. I'm sorry, 1:3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. See, they hear and see, and keep those things which are seen and heard. So again, what are the signs? Let's tackle one. Now, family, the so-called Jews are all Jews. For example, whatever Jew you claim to be, right? Whatever Jew, north, south, east, west, whatever Jew, you can go buy land right now in Palestine. Right now. If you're Ashkenazi, Khazar, Sephardic, the Mishraim, they don't really like those guys, and I'll show you guys some stuff. But all those guys, they can go buy land right now without hesitation. They're not going to say, oh, no, which kind of Jew? No. Historically speaking, they're the same people. So again, we're not just talking about these colored type of Jews. We're also going to show you some other types, unless you guys forgot. Remember the book, The Lost Slaves by Michael Jones? How these so-called Wobbles or BHIs, they claim that they ruled Europe. I'll give you one page 15. It says, in 1493, a Muslim named Askia Muhammad ruled Sangha Empire. He brought Islam to the region in which many had to convert. True. Years before 1492, many black Jews were expelled from Spain and Portugal. Pay attention. For not converting to Christianity. They were shipped to West Africa and later threatened with death by Askia if they did not convert to Islam. So remember, see, some people like to call them black Jews. Others will not. They'll call them something else. And we're going to tackle that. Because I think it's time to tackle this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's stop playing games, man. Let's stop playing games. Okay, who are these people? If you got, and this is what I say, if you had something to do with the slavery of our gente, I'm going to call you out. I don't give a shit who you are. I'm going to call you out on it. So let's begin.
You must remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible. And we do remember, and we are fighting. Our brave troops and combatants who are now in Gaza or around Gaza and in all other regions in Israel are joining this chain of Jewish heroes, a chain that has started 3,000 years ago from Joshua ben Nun until...
As you guys don't know, this is an older video. This is October last year. When this guy goes and teaches and preaches and says, we got to go back and get these Palestinians. This is Amalek. Now, I'm like, for us that study scripture, we're like, oh, shoot. Now we're talking like this. Perfect. And in Mexico, we got some diplomats that are speaking against this war over there. And he's saying, I'm not anti-Semite. He goes, because first of all, the Palestinians are Semitic. And if these guys are Semitic, then I'm not anti-Semite. So then I go, wait a minute. So if we're talking about Bible stuff now, so if they're Amalek and these guys are so-called Jews, and now we're talking about Semitic people, so then who the hell are the so-called Hispanics now? That's the question. Let's continue.
Still the heroes of 1948, the Six-Day War, the 73 October War, and all other wars in this country are hero troops. They have one supreme main goal: to completely defeat the murderous enemy and to guarantee our existence in this country. We've always said, never again. Never again is now.
Now, why is this important to us? Well, guess what? For you that believe in the Bible, what does the Bible say about the quote-unquote Jews? That they are the salt of the earth, the preservers of tradition, right? The people that give you understanding, because that's what technically it means, not your dancers and your... That's dumb. That's just African shit right there. It doesn't mean that. It means preserver. That's why when you use salt, because technically they didn't have refrigerators back in the day, they use salt. So you got to understand that. Anyways, so let me just continue. He says, you must remember what Amalek has done to you, says the Holy Bible. Okay. So then now let's look up Amalek. Who is this vato loco forever, huh? Who is this vato loco? Let's check him out. Genesis 36:12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. And he shows up several times. Amalek. But see, Amalek is the son of Edom. And we know, historically we know, and I'm going to show you a video too, that the Palestinians that are there migrated right around the first or second caliph. And I know because, obviously I do this stuff. And I found a video that somebody from over there, not here, mentions that too. Okay, so they migrated there. So it's you know what I mean? It's are they Amalek? That's my question. Based on what we know, I don't think they're Amalek. Are you saying the Palestinians, the Arabs, are sons of Esau or Edom? Because then I showed you other videos where they go off and say, the rabbis, destroy Edom. And he goes, Edom is America. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it makes no sense. So, but I'm glad you bring up the topic. I'm glad. Let's continue on this vein right here. I'm going to show you this right here. Okay. So, this is in Spanish for you guys that, I don't know if you don't know Spanish. Well, too bad, because this is a bilingual channel. López Obrador, he's the last year president here. Look what he says in regards to these people and these other ones. Because the question is, why the unity? I'm going to show you something. And I think some of you guys know too. So I'm just going to put it there and read it for you guys that are not too familiar with this history. So you can see. And we'll continue.
López Obrador arremete contra Estados Unidos por creer ser juez del mundo.
Ellos no están acostumbrados a respetar las soberanías de los pueblos. Ayer, por ejemplo, sacó el Departamento de Estado una resolución hablando de que en México se violan derechos humanos y ellos situándose como los jueces del mundo. Ellos deberían de ser respetuosos con nosotros. Nosotros no les decimos, ¿y por qué destinas miles de millones de dólares para la guerra? ¿Y por qué no liberas a Assange? ¿Y por qué no atiendes a los jóvenes de Estados Unidos que fallecen por la adicción a las drogas? ¿Y por qué reprimes, maltratas a los migrantes?
López Obrador.
So, as you can see, he's like, well, you're saying all this, and why are you doing all that? Why are you giving these guys more money to go kill more people? Why don't you take care of your own gente? And then on top of that, why are you oppressing, quote unquote, immigrants that work hella hard to feed your ass? Hopefully that hurts them. But anyway, the reason I'm sharing this is because of this. I think a lot of us forget, and that's why I'm saying to y'all, you can't be slicing and dicing these people. Partially they're our gente. Like, really? Any of them right now can go and buy land from the Palestinians. They're more than welcome. And most of them have benefited. And I'm going to show you. Hey, shalom, Yasharala. Let me see what you got, Rick, real quick, and then we'll continue. And he's been speaking to Joe Biden. That should be yeah. Oh, bro, wait till you see what I got. Hold on, let me go.
The U.S. is the single driving force behind the genocide of Palestinian civilians right now. They're paying for it. They're arming it. So the notion that nobody's done more to safeguard the suffering of Palestinian civilians is part of the fiction. Everything the U.S. says about the universality of human rights is nothing but a mirage. It's all rooted in double standards and hypocrisy. Human rights are not for everyone. The U.S. has always sought to protect and shield Israel from accountability for its crimes.
What it says is always protecting them. That's why she put the United States of Israel. Okay, let's continue.
very much in opposition to the world. The U.S. has consistently undermined Palestinian rights and consistently supported the aggressor. So Genocide Joe's actions I see as an extension of U.S. foreign policy towards Palestine and not as an exception or an aberration.
No American president will let Israel go down the tube, Democrat or Republican. It's not an issue.
When we look at Israel and we try to understand this bizarre relationship between the U.S. and Israel and the words which are always used to describe this relationship.
So I fought for Israel like no president ever before.
It's always an unbreakable bond.
Israel has built unbreakable bonds of friendship.
The bonds between the United States and Israel are unbreakable.
Our unbreakable alliance with Israel.
Shared values.
We're united in our shared values. The connection between the Israeli people and the American people is bone deep.
It's bone deep, he says. So in case you guys don't know, it actually talks about it here. Maccabees 8:1, this is in the Apocrypha. And now Judas heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and made a league or make a league of enmity with all that came unto them. And that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and the noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they conquered them and brought them in under tribute. So here we're showing you a history, right? And what they done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold, which is there. You will only find that word probably twice or three times in the entire Bible, fam. Maybe twice. Yeah. Then it says here, all right, so just showing you what's going on. Now it says here, and that by their policy and patience, they had conquered all the places, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the outer parts of the earth, or outermost parts of the earth, till they were discomfited and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. So now we're seeing they're admiring these guys. Verse 17, to get to the point. It says here, in consideration of these things, Judas chose Epilemius, the son of John, the son of Achaz, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them. Now, who are these guys? We know now that in this time there was a lot of conversion too. As you know, it happens. And I'll show you some. There were several conversions, several converts. If you read this entire chapter, it actually talks about how they will always fight for each other. They will look, according to this, verse 29, according to these articles, did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews? You see this? Let's see if I can read it real quick. Okay, here it goes right here. Verse 25, the people of the Jews shall help them, as the time shall be appointed with all their hearts. Neither shall they give anything unto them that makes war upon them, or aid them with victuals, weapons, money, or ships, as it had seemed good unto the Romans. But they shall keep their covenants without taking anything therefore. In the same manner also, if war comes first upon the nations of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their hearts, according as the time shall be appointed them. Now you wonder why?
Support for Israel has always been bipartisan. So for many of us, it's in our DNA.
That's very strange language to use. I mean, it's a completely separate country that has nothing to do with the United States in theory, but in fact, in practice, Israel is an extension of the American imperial project in the Middle East.
I think
here's Biden, Rich.
It's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
If this capital crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid. I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel.
Very interesting, isn't it? I'll show you this real quick.
You have.
So then now, because of the wars, now he just put up this message. This is recent. About, I don't know, 1 day ago, maybe? Like recent. Okay? Listen to what he says.
To hear this to believe this. The International Criminal Court in The Hague is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against senior Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides. Yet now, the International Court is trying to put Israel in the dock. It's trying to put us in the dock as we defend ourselves against genocidal terrorists and regimes, Iran of course, that openly works to destroy the one and only Jewish state.
Okay, let's just be realistic here. You guys have killed over 40,000 people. 40,000. Mostly women and children. That's not genocide? Let's continue real quick, and I got something to show you.
Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes. Israel is not even subject to the court's jurisdiction, and it has an independent legal system that rigorously investigates all violations of the law. Rather, this ICC attempt is an attempt to paralyze Israel's very ability to defend itself. Government.
We can continue to listen to that, but I'm not really interested in listening to him. Okay. Now, some of you guys wonder, and a lot of Christians, they don't like this verse here. Revelation 2:9, it says, "And I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." And that R is, in an italicized R. So here we see that these are there's two of them. Do not forget. Revelation 3:9. "Behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship thee before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." So there's some that are in the Church of Philadelphia claiming that they're Jews and are not. And then there's some in the Church of Ephesus claiming that they're Jews and are not. So they're both different churches, different locations, or quote unquote, different continents. Kind of what I was saying. Now, let me re-emphasize this here. When you guys read Romans 9:6, it says here, "Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel." So you're like, "Oh, you see, it's talking about Israelites." No, there was already conversions at this time. And there was already people claiming to be these people. You see, in the school of Alexandria, in case you don't know this, in Ephesus, they studied Torah law, which as well as they studied a lot of different quote unquote theological subjects, which different students had to bring their own understanding, their own teachings to the circle, because that's what they were based on. Philosophy, who, what, and how, and how, what's God's creation, all that stuff. Okay? Do your homework on these things. So it says here, which are Israel. They're in Israel. Their mom would have been Israel. But in case you guys don't remember, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you slice it, there ain't no such thing as spiritual Israelites. I don't give a shit who you guys are. There's no such thing. There'll never be. Never be. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. In Isaac, seed, the man, not the woman. Nobody. I'm going to tell you something, and so you guys have heard me say this. None of us can prove that we're Israel. not black people, not white people, not Hispanics, nobody. But that's no excuse to say, John 3:16, that is they which are the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of promise are counted for the seed. Now, that doesn't mean spiritual Israel. Because then those people are going to assume, well, if it's spiritual Israel, that means the laws are done away with. Dude, it's a convoluting thing. You create doctrines. This is why there were so many books written, right? Look, I'll show you. And I understand now. And I mean, I'm not. What's the script? Which one is it? Hold on a second. Let me remember. Which one is it? Hold on a second. Give me a second. Let me find it. I forgot, man. I didn't have it in my mind, but maybe I remember it. Hold on a second here. Which one is it? Oh, I think it's this one. So Second Ezra's, yeah, it couldn't burn all the books. So Second Ezra's 14, it says here, in Second Ezra's 14:44, in 40 days they wrote 200 books. 204 books. And it came to pass when the 40 days were filled that the high spake, saying, the first thou hast written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the foundation of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge, or the tree of life. Which I'll show you in another class, which I'm doing on Saturday, how they confuse this. This is why these books weren't supposed to be given to everybody. This is why. Because then you're going to have people that are going to create other doctrines, which is why we have a lot of doctrines now. So anyways, let me stick to the point before I forget. Let me go here real quick. Now, let me see, Isaiah chapter 5:13. Let me show you something, okay? Isaiah 5:13 says, therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and that honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. What does it mean? No knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Remember initially I told you, pay attention to the spirit of the people? Remember I said that? I said that because of this. 2 Chronicles 18:21 and 22. It says, and he said, I will go out. Now, this is just kind of give you a real quick drawback here. Jehoshaphat allies with Ahab. And now the Most High is talking to his spirits that he powers. And he's, asking them certain questions. And this one comes up and says, oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'll read verse 20. Then they came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. You see this? I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. Isaiah 5:13 talks about us being dry, not having knowledge, not being fed. And the Lord said, thou shalt entice him. That's why it's important to understand scripture thoroughly, because James 1:14 talks about the pattern of sin, and it mentions entice. Anyways, so not forget the point. Let me continue. Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. Now, therefore, behold, the Lord put a lying spirit in the mouth of these prophets, and the Lord has spoken evil against thee. That's why. Be mindful. Don't look at me. Listen to the message. Pay attention to what's provided. Put your feelings aside. This ain't about you. Malachi 2:7. For the priest's lips shall keep knowledge, and they that seek the law, and they shall seek the law out of his mouth. But they don't. Like Isaiah 30 said, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't like that. No, I don't like that. It doesn't fit my narrative. It doesn't make me feel good. You know what I mean? It don't go well with the friends that I got. I may offend them. Isaiah 5:13 again, therefore my people are gone into captivity. This is what I'm saying. Like, y'all don't realize it, dude. Like, you want to make friends with the people that put you in captivity. because they have no knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Now we got other doctrines coming away. Pretty soon you're going to see some crazy stuff. I said it 2 years ago. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, he hath rejoiced, shall descend in it. Which is why y'all need to pay not attention to the person, man, to the message, bro, to the message. I sometimes listen to people that do not look nothing like me. Sometimes they got something to say. Put your feelings aside. Isaiah 30:9, this is a rebellious people, unless the scriptures are not lying. Lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophet, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. Get out of the way, they say. Turn outside, out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from me. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. You don't want to hear it. Now, about 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, okay, I brought this out to you. And apparently you guys didn't care. No, it didn't even comprehend to you. It didn't even matter. And I was telling you, look, this is what I found. And I think it's important that you guys pay attention to these things. Now, this is a book called The Golden Age of the Moors, right? A pseudo historian. I understand that. But in this book, there is information which he uses, which is true, right? But I want to focus on something. Because like I said before, what are the signs? What are the signs? So it says here, remember, Deuteronomy 28:46, it says that these signs, these curses, these people that did this, that are still doing this, you're going to see them. Which is why Ecclesiastes 3:13 talks about nothing new under the sun, right? That which had been is now. 1492 is now. And that which is to be had already been. Today will be 500 years later, possibly. And God required that which has passed. Nothing new under the sun. We're back all over again. So that's why it says signs and wonders. So now, I'm going to show you something. It's true that these people invaded Europe. It's true. Whether you want to believe that they're white, black, brown, whatever, that's not my concern right this very moment. But it's true that they went there. And it's also true, very true, that at that time, these people right here, okay, the Jews and the Moors, all right, the Jews and the Moors were favorable to each other. Things were good when they were in power. They were good. Okay, so now I'm going to give you something to pay attention to. Own it. In page 336, these foreigners, which were North Africans, were Arabs, were Jews as well, that were there and that were also with them, whatever ones you want to see or learn or whatever they want, they all had a part to do with it. And they all wanted to make sure to get rid of the gringo because they still talk crap about him. You know what I mean? So in page 336, I shared with y'all who these people were, and that's why I said signs and wonders. And you guys want to close your eyes. You don't want to listen. Fine. You don't listen. But again, don't listen. Listen to the message at least. Look, on page 336, it says, the color of the conquering soldiers was described vividly by a European scholar who sympathized with the Christians. Okay? Let me magnify this page here. Again, this is from the book called The Golden Age of the Moors. These BHIs, they all black Hebrews that want to claim they're Israel, right? They love to share this. They love to share this book here. Saying, look, hey, by the way, the link is there. If anybody got a problem with me on this, go ahead and hit it. All right? Just letting you know. So here we know that the Jews and the Moors were doing good when they were working together. Okay? So now let's read. The color of the conquering soldiers was described vividly by a European scholar who sympathized with the Christian Spain. With Christian Spain, that means the Visigoths, the light-skinned guys, right? The ones that get red when they're in the sun. Watch what it says. So he says that he sees this. This is what he sees them coming as. Some of you guys who know the Bible will understand. The reins of their horses, meaning the Moors' horses, Moriscos, Moranos. Don't play stupid with me. We know what's up. The Moors or the horses were as fire. Their faces black as pitch, meaning they were Negro. They were dark. Their eyes shone like burning candles, red. Their horses were swift as leopards, and the riders fiercer than a wolf in its sheepfold at night. Let me read it again. Their horses were swift as leopards, and the riders fiercer than a wolf in its sheepfold at night. Now, I showed you guys this. And this is why, this is why Job says this right here, 11:6, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, his children, that they are double to that which is. You see this? So he'll let us know the wisdom, the history, things that other people don't see. Watch this. Remember, swift as leopards, like horses, fiercer than wolves, right? Okay. If you know the book, you should know what this is. Habakkuk 1:8. Their horses their horses also are swifter than leopards, and they're more fierce than an evening wolf. What? Yes, it's right here. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar, from the end of the earth, as quick as the eagle flieth. Right? Like here. The Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. They shall come from afar. Their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle, hasten to eat. This is in this book. This is when the so-called dark-skinned people conquered Europe. And we know that the Jews and the Moors had it good when they conquered Europe. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, whoa. So Habakkuk, no, let's go back here. This is even more interesting. And I want to read it to you in a simple translation. Habakkuk 1:5. Look and be amazed at what's going to happen among the nation. He's talking about you Israelites. Even if you were told, you would never believe what's taking place now. I told you guys that black conquistadors came with the white ones. But you see, what I kind of failed to emphasize was that these Jews, whichever ones you want to choose, are your brothers or not, they also helped. They're not privy to this. They're very mindful of what they did. Which is why I'm kind of blown away by the fact that some of y'all want to be selective. Hosea 12:10. It says here, I spoke to the prophets. Often I spoke in visions. Let me read it again here. Hosea 12:10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of prophets. You see this? So not all of us get to see some of these things. Now, I'm not saying I'm a prophet. I don't know. All I know is that this is what's being provided, and that's all I know. I'm not following nobody. I'm not saying, I don't have no narrative. All I'm doing is reading, taking notes, and showing you guys what I see. You decide. Because it's your spirit. Because it's your salvation. Not someone else's. Not mine. Not some so-called leader. Not some camp. Y'all need to make that decision on your own. It says here, once again, Deuteronomy 28:46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. These guys came with horses, violence, together. Jews and the Moors. And the gringos too. And they spoke another language that we did not know. And they brought religions that we were not familiar with. Right? Reality should start kicking in. So you guys that are claiming to be Jews, you so-called black folks, you're claiming to be the Jews, then how well, you know these guys. You're not serving new gods. You're not serving new gods that your African fathers didn't know. Your African fathers knew these white people. Right? These Jews as well. I'm going to show you. Verse 36 says the same damn thing. So I don't understand. Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. What do you mean? You see, that's why I want to question some of y'all. But are you really reading? Because we know now that Psalms 83 said these people from afar would come. You that are hidden, we know now that they had an idea of who was over here. Horses, violence, language, religion. Keep in mind, since 1492, they took away everything from us. Everything. So now I'm going to show you this real quick and keep going. Let me move on to the next section. Check this out. This is from Encyclopedia. It's called hold on a second. It's an interesting book. It's called A New and Revised Edition, an Encyclopedia of Freemasonry and its Kindred Scenes. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm reading this. It's important that we read this because it's really awkward. And you need to know, who are these people? Who are these people that call themselves Jews? Whether white or black. Who are they? Now, these people, in case you don't know, they study the Talmud, the Zohar, the Mishnah, the Sifrat, and the Kabbalah. They put aside the Torah. Their understanding of Adam is this: the name of the first Adam, the Hebrew word, signifies man in a generic sense in human species. Actually, let me just break it down because I actually did a class on this. So you black Hebrew Israelites, I want to say, look, Genesis 2:7, I can't eat black unto the ground. No, dummy. It means Adamah, okay? And Adamah is a city I believe, in the tribe of Asher, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a city called Abadah in that tribe because they're by the river. See, you have to be close to the river to create red clay. You can't be too far in and you can't be too far out. That's why they call that Adamah, the ground, because the first man was made out of the dust of the earth, or from Adam to be red dirt, which is what you see houses over there. They're red dirt, not black. But here's where I get kind of thrown away. Check this out. The Kabbalists and the Talmudists have invented many things concerning the first Adam, none which are, however, worthy of preservation. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so now check this out. According to the Jewish tradition, in the Targum and the Talmud, okay? Pay attention. According to the Jewish tradition of these people, whichever Jews you want to choose, you can't have one without the other. You can't be saying, oh, Caesars. No. They're all the same. Okay, stop. We need to stop that. Because black Hebrew Israelites did the same shit. They were saying they ruled Europe and the black Jews were there, but the white Jews weren't real. They were converts, but they were not. No, you guys can't do that. No. We're not going to play stupid anymore. So it says here, these Jews, okay, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and what's the other one? Khazaric, whatever you want. According to the Jewish traditions of the Targum and the Talmud, because they all study this, look up Mohammedis, look up John Frank Lunari. They're all the same. As also the Moses Mohammedis, here we go. Adam was created man and woman at the same time, having two faces, turned two opposite directions, like Janus. That during a stupor, the Creator separated Hava. During a stupor, the Creator separated Hava, his feminine half, from him in order to make of her a distinct person. Thus were separated the primordial androgen or Andromeda. You see what I mean? This is what they believe in. Androgynous. What else do we know about these guys? So I want to give you a little history here. This is from a book that I have called Portuguese First Slaves of 1460. I'll just get to it. And it references A History of the Jews by Solomon Grazel. It says here, throughout the history of practice, Jews, no matter which ones, have been involved in the purchase and sales of human beings. This fact is confirmed by their own scholars and historians. In his book, A History of the Jews, Solomon Grazel states that Jews were among the most important slave dealers. The principal purchasers of slaves were found among the Jews. They seem to be always and everywhere at the hand to buy and to have the means equally ready to pay. Henry Fingold stated that Jews who frequently found at the heart of commerce could not fail to contribute a proportionate share to the slave trade directly and indirectly. In 1460, check this out, when Jews were the masters of the nautical science of port in Portugal, that nation was importing 700 to 800 slaves yearly. They spoke Arabic, Persian, Roman, Frankish, Spanish, Slavic, and displayed a business acumen far advanced of times. So then again, I question, if you're the Jews of the Bible, then you should know your enemies. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I mean, what you want me to tell you? I'm reading, and I'm still having a hard time understanding. It's like it hasn't changed. To this very day, it hasn't changed. What do we got? Stephen Miller over here getting ready to jump into the Oval Office with Donald Trump, saying he's going to deport all you beaners. Illegal aliens. This is a Jew. Oh, but Holocaust, no. Anti-Semite. Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which had been is now, and that which is to be had already been. 1492 all over again. They own porn. Yeah, they own porn sites. One of the rabbis actually sells them with his daughter. I've seen that, bro. Now, matter of fact, and again, it's true. The biggest gay parade is over there. 200,000 plus people per year. So again, where am I going with this? Because these are in question now. You guys are in question now. This goes for you so-called black Jews and you so-called white Jews. You BHIs, or you that want to claim these people as your gente. Because black Jews say that they're the Southern Kingdom too, by the way, in case you guys don't know that. I'm sure they sure do. So let me explain who this guy is. This guy is I've said it before, but it's good to emphasize it. Maximilian Mission, written or printed in 1739. He was around 1650 to 1722, right? You see what I'm saying? This is back then. All right? This is a white guy, by the way. So let's listen to what he says about the Jews. And I hope you so-called BHIs is watching too. Well, whoever it is, the link is there. Whoever has a problem with me, I don't care who you are, hit the link. Let's talk about it. I mean, you claiming these people. Are we back to the 12-type chart again? Is that what the deal is? We're back to the 12-type chart again, family. I think that's what it is. I smell a 12-type chart. Watch this, page 139. Watch what it says. The author of the La Roma Santa affirms that the Jews stink and that their noisome smell vanishes after they're baptized. So again, he's making a comment, all right? So I'm just reading it. I know not why this should be reckoned wonderful, for those who are to be baptized are so carefully washed and cleansed that they must needs become sweet, though they really stunk before. But it's ridiculous to imagine that the Jews, as being Jews, have a particular smell. Okay? So now watch this. Pay close attention. The Jews, Sephardic or Ashkenazi, okay, or Khazaric, whatever name you prefer, the Jews of Rome are very poor. Those who are poor are always nasty. Those who are nasty naturally usually stink. That is a mystery. This is also a vulgar error that the Jews are all black. Ooh, see what I'm talking about. So here it says, you're right, BHIs, yeah, the so-called Jews, they're black, but not all black. But this is only true of the Portuguese Jews. But wait a minute. Didn't we just read that the Portuguese were the number one importers of slaves? Okay, let's continue. Who marrying always among one another begat children like themselves, and consequently, the swartiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race. Even in the northern regions. Hold on a second. Mr. Black Man that want to be a Jew, slow down. Slow down. Don't exclude your white brother. Okay? Because he's right there with you. Once again, the Jews and the Moors. The Jews and the Moors. And if you guys want to look up a book, I got a book called, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I'll just take a picture of it. me see real quick. Just so you can see, this is not new. This is something you guys can find and easily to obtain. Easy to obtain. So see right here. Let me just download it. Boom, 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 boom. See, 1887. The Jews and Moors in Spain. Rabbi Kroskoft. Okay, so it shouldn't surprise you. This should not surprise none of you guys. So, Black Hebrew Israelite, you want to be a Black Hebrew Israelite? Hit the link. I will destroy you in Deuteronomy 28. I will not leave that chapter. And you that believe these people are your people, well, guess what, man? Gloves are off. All right? It's time to prove you guys wrong. I think I played nice for some of y'all, man. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have done that. So again, let me continue. Who marrying always beget children like themselves, and consequently, the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race. Now, we're also going to find out why they're swarthy, by the way. But the Jews who are originally of Germany, those, for example, I have seen in Prague, are not blacker than the rest of their countrymen. I mean, they're light skinned, right? Though nobody can doubt that those of the Jewish nation are destitute of all authentic tradition. So here it says that, yeah, they say they're Jews, but they lack their authenticity. Destitute means that you lack that authentic tradition, and that as being Jews, they have not any particular knowledge, either of the laws or customs of their quote-unquote ancestors. This is a book in 1739. This guy was alive in 1650 through 1722. Or even of Hebrew language. So what are you saying? Oh, they lost their heritage? No. They never did. So then now all of a sudden, what is it? Isaiah 50:33 or Isaiah 17 doesn't count anymore? Isaiah 17:4 don't count anymore? Is that what we're doing now? Isaiah 17:4? No, which one is it? Isaiah? What is it? Oh my God. It's a simple milk, bro. I cannot believe I forgot that. Oh, hold on. I know how to find it. Well, it's Jeremiah. Is it Jeremiah? Shoot, I forget, bro. Come on, man. You need to be on up to the par. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage. Jeremiah 17:4, that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Where ye have kindled my anger where ye have kindled fire in my anger, and ye shall burn forever. So we're serving them, right? Or did it stop? Well, when did it stop? Anyways, let me go back to this. I have, however, been willing to take care to satisfy you in asking several of their rabbins in Germany and Italy about what you had desired with making them read some periods in Hebrew distinctly to observe how they pronounce it. Without long time here, in entering again in the particularities of your question, I will tell you that I have forgotten nothing. And that I have done, and I have drove my curiosity further than yours. So like this guy's now intrigued, having not forgot the diverse doubtful things that are marked in the grammar, or that which are the results of the different opinions in grammaring. It says here, the answer I have then to make in a few words about this affair, about these Jews, black and white, okay, black and white, that these Jews have furnished me with nothing that one can draw on any use from. And indeed, what could they say to the Christian that the Christian cannot already know, as well as they? Remember the book, The Golden Age of the Moors? Christian Spain, they're familiar with these guys. They came with the Moors. Connecting the dots of this nice little beautiful puzzle that it's called life, our life. It says here, and indeed, what could they say to Christians that the Christians do not already know as they? Have they any secret source or any immediate revelation? Who are those people that pretend to teach each other? On the contrary, they are the poor sort of creature, so filled with false notions, so conceited of their monstrous ideas, that I would never advise young people to have any commerce with them for fear of receiving from them some ridiculous prejudice. Isn't that what's going on right now? Isn't that what's going on right now? These guys are claiming to be those people. And we got people on different sides telling us that there are people too. Oh, we ruled Europe. We ruled Europe. We came over here. We got enslaved, but we enslaved you, but we're the same people. That makes no sense. So let's start triggering this down here, okay? All right, I'm going to show you something. Let's go to page, I believe page 7. All right, so in page 7, the mappers and privateers and promoters, the year 1492. I saw one door closed in Iberian Jews and Muslims and another open in Ocean Way. You see, once again, Jews and Moors. Not Jews and Hispanics. Yeah, they don't. Oh, wait till I show that at the end, bro. That's the goal, bro. Guaracuya. Shalom, bro. That's kind of the end, too. Both academies, studies, and informal families and family histories attest that many of the Spanish and Portuguese colonists in Central and South America, Mexico, and the Caribbean were conversos and moriscos, Jews and Moors. Colonists. Are you guys forgetting what colonist means? Oh, no, let's just put that aside, right? That don't matter now. Colonist means conquistadors, pendejos. That's what it means. It means people that take your land, right? That take your everything from you. Your language, your land, your prophets, your children, your culture, your religion, your word, the love of the Most High, right? These guys here. Not us. Crypto Jews and crypto Muslims. Secret Jews and secret Muslims. This is page 8. Nazi hunter Simeon Withenthal book Sails of Hope, which I'm going to show you. He draws attention to Columbus' use of Hebrew ciphers, blah, 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 blah. But check this out. It says, historians speculate that the first Europeans to sight land on October 12, 1492 was also Jewish. Do we have to remind people this? Or are we forgetting? A brother told me that his, I guess, relative could not believe that there were black conquistadors. And in case you guys don't know, these black conquistadors were also Jews. It says here, the sailor Juan Rodriguez Bermeja, called Rodrigo de Triana, left Spain upon Columbus' return and entered the service of the Moors in Morocco. See this. His name and memory are honored today by American Jews for whom the story of auspicious beginning is point of immense pride. So do you understand what that means, gente? That their pride is your destruction, not yours. Their pride is your destruction. Hundreds of Jews exiled from Spain and Portugal followed Bermejo and made a name for themselves as the Jewish pirates of the Caribbean. What? Moroccan born? A lot of, you see what I mean? What's going on? If not Jewish or more, self-identification or public labeling of such. Let's continue. Got one little thing to show you. Go back to page 25, maybe. Let's see if I can see it. Hold on a second real quick. Make it smaller. Give me a second, family. Here it goes, right here. So again, I need you to understand, man. Even they themselves know who they are. And you guys don't want to listen. It's fine. Don't listen. Do what you want. It says here on chapter 2, Judaic scholar Paul Wexler, however, maintains that the majority of the Sephardic Jews, which I'm going to just say that the Sephardic Jews was of North African Berber origin and converted to Judaism sometime before 711 CE, Arab invasion in the peninsula. You see what I mean? When the Moors went, they went there, they took this land from them. They're saying to you that the Sephardic Jews, they're Africans, Berbers, who converted to Judaism when the invasion came. The word Sephardi itself has been explained as a form of North African Gothic, Svart, meaning Swarti. The etymology with roots in the 5th century, Vandals and Visigoths. So Visigothic invasion, meaning these guys here, the Christian Spain. That's what they're saying. This guy sympathized with them. And he was saying that these black folks and Jews, whatever you want to call them, came in like Habakkuk 1 and 5. And guess what? They did the same thing here, like Habakkuk 1 and 5. Deuteronomy 20:49. And the Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. These people knew each other. Black, Jews, white, all them Europeans. They all spoke the same languages. We didn't know them, did we? Are we now going to forget the Bible? Are we now not going to listen to doctrine? So now, who are these guys here? What do they study? The alternative theory is that the large number of Sephardic Jews came into existence with a conversion event in southern France in 750 or 900 CE. A proselyting movement is believed to have been centered in the establishment of a prominent Talmudic academy in Nuremberg. Now, why am I showing that? Because that Talmudic thing is important. Let me repeat it again. The heritage. Paul Wexler. Let me see. Paul, let me see. Maybe I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can see it. Hold on. Can I make it bigger? So it says here, Paul Wexler, in the non-Jewish origin of Sephardic Jews, makes a persuasive case that today's Sephardic Jews originated primarily in proselytes from North Africa of Berber ethnicity, who emerged with later converts in Iberia. He demonstrated that the small number of descendants of Judean and Palestinian Jews in North Africa and Iberian Peninsula underwent marriages with their mobulous Romans, Berber Gothic, and Arab origin. He believes that this took place in 3 phases. First, North Africa, Iberian Peninsula, finally North Africa. As you can see the dates here, boom, it sounds good. I don't understand why it has to be repetitive. I guess it has to be. Isaiah 30 says it again, like rebellious children. I don't want to know that. 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 That's too difficult for me to accept. Let's continue. Listen, I'm touching on one and I'm going to touch on the other. So, okay, I'm not just touching on one. I'm touching on all of them. Christopher Colon was a converso Jew. What kind? Sephardic or Ashkenazi or Khazar? Sephardim in the New World had a wide variety of occupations and lived at all levels of the socioeconomic spectrum, according to Marcus. They were shoemakers, tailors, blacksmiths, tavern keepers, peddlers, mariners, masons, ship captains, butchers, tanners, physicians, merchants, you know it. Are we forgetting the signs? The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Verse 43. Are we forgetting these signs? That these people that came from a different land with a different language, I mean, did they teach us anything that says that we're the same people? Do they have schools right now saying, hey, we're the same people, Ak? Is there camps saying, or Ashkenazi camps or Sephardic camps teaching us that we're the same people? I'm asking because that is a serious question. And if there's one, tell me, because I don't know of any. But what I do know is that these people are one and the same. They're one and the same. Look, the immigration patterns in Virginia after 1624 suggest that even a stronger picture of the Sephardic and Morisco presence. You see this? Moriscos, Jews, Hebrew, tailors, like they're all here. People of another nation or from afar who you're not familiar with. Sephardics and Moriscos continue to arrive. Okay? The scriptures say that these people, if they're above you, are we supposed to ignore that now? Many of these persons were likely of Sephardic and Morisco ancestry. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, do I have to bring out the big guns? Yeah, I'll bring out the big guns. This is right here, this guy right here, just to show you. And this is them. This is not me. This is a man named the Lost Tribes, a myth, suggestion towards rewriting Hebrew history. Okay, this guy here, he doesn't believe even that we are the people. Okay, I don't know, I guess it's not the cover. Where's the cover at? Anyways, all right, so you guys can see it. I showed you this book before. Look what he says. And this is about, K's our topic too. Don't think that I'm forgetting him. Not at all. Watch what he says though. And again, we just want to make clarity of this. This is on page 282. It says here, Herodotus is supported by the contemporary Obadiah, who declares that the exiles from Halah and Harbar shall possess the land of the Canaanites, the coast, as far as the Sepharad or Zarephath, the exiles of Jerusalem, who are in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the Southland. In Sargonoid times, the Sepharda or Saparda are part of the Medo-Cimmerian invasion in southwestern Media. In the time of Darius, the son of Cyrus, 200 years later, there appeared Western Asia Minor. In southern Bithynia, in the distant river, this includes the Parthenius River region. Right? So he's explaining these things. Whence it appears that in the previously cited Gomer migration that overran the Hittite Cappadocia seems to have had the Saparta as its advance guard. It's talking about this scripture here, family. All right? This right here. Obadiah 1:20. In the captivity of the host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. In the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. It's talking about this. Now, some people think that, that's it. That's it. One word in the entire book. But we're looking at massive amount of information, but it's still not enough for y'all. Sounds good. For Judaism, for the 2,000 years, has been using Sephardim as a name for the Jews farther west, and they have mistakenly connected Sepharad with the Greek Hesperides, meaning Spain. Two recent discoveries clear the whole matter up. He's talking about the excavation in Sardis, prove that Sfard was an older name of the city. And Lydian bilingual inscription identifies Sfard with the Aramaean name Sepharad, which is in the Babylonian Saparda. Elamite is Sparda. The Sparda of the Behastin inscription. All right, let me give you one more. Oh, sorry. Should have gone to page 84. Hence, the Jews who use Sephardim as a term for the Jews of the far west must have begun doing so when those of the Sardis region were the farthest west. That may have been before the time of Darius. It may many centuries later, the Sephardim began to use for Jews in Spain. He said it, not me. Tales of hope. Let's tackle this real quick. We're going to let's look at these guys first. See what they say. So we got people called the Khazars. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just do this before I move on to them. So now we're going to move on to some Khazars here. Or Ashkenazis, is that you guys going to call them. Or they want to say that the Arabs are Amalek, the sons of Edom, which makes no sense. Because they're saying Edom is in America. But now Amalek is Edom. You see what I mean? So they're saying Arabs are Edom. Pay attention. In this book, The Sails of Hope, The Secret Mission of Christopher Columbus. So here we clearly see that he has a lot to do with the Jews. A lot. Okay. There's something I want to show you. Oh, that's right, page 7. In order to explain the connection, we have to look into the situation of the Jews in Spain at the 15th century. That's not the point.
Where are you at? Oh, here it goes. The Jews survived all the conquerors in Spain, for the conquerors soon mingled with the native population and merged with it. The Jews suffered, were persecuted, made deals with the conquerors, and kept their identity. We find mentions of Jews in the earliest documents. They lived among the Muslim Moors and among the Catholic Spaniards, who were divided in several kingdoms. In the 9th century, Arab historians refer to Granada and Tarragona as Jewish cities. Both Jews and Christians enjoyed full freedom in Arab kingdoms and had their own courts of law. The Jewish population in Muslim Spain constituted the largest body of Jewish Europe. So it says here that these Jews had it good when they were dealing with the Muslims, right? Are we forgetting scripture? I mean, are we seriously forgetting scripture now? Because, funny as it may, in Judith 5, it clearly says that when we're not dealing with the Most High's laws or us as a nation together, we don't prosper. We don't. It says here, Judith 5:17, and while they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hated iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captive in the land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast down to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their God and not come up from a place where they were scattered. Clearly it shows, because this guy was asking, who are these people? Who are these Israelites? And this person explained to them, this is who they are. And it seems like whenever they sin, their God departs them. When they're not keeping the land, they're not together, they get destroyed. But when they're together with God, they're not. So then explain to me this. How does that work? Jews, Muslims, Moors working together and it's prospering for y'all? So what are you saying? They're northern and southern kingdom now? Are we going to ignore the book now? Are we going to ignore the book now? In case you guys don't know this, Latinos is a very, very big deal in Mexico. For you guys that don't know, you uneducated, and you like to share people, teach people your uneducated shit. In spite of everything, this is on page 202, in spite of everything, they clung to their mother tongue as the German Jews would do centuries later. They continued to use the Castilian language, which they had taken with them to Portugal and later to Holland and England. Out of this old Castilian, they developed Ladino, which the Sephardim spoke in all countries, just as the Yiddish of the Eastern Jews developed out in the middle of High German. The Sephardim intermarried and kept their distance from the Ashkenazic Jews and the Jews Central and Eastern Europe. In Holland, mixed marriages between Sephardi Jews and Ashkenazis were rare until they came to America. Well, let's continue. Let's continue. Because look, all I'm trying to do, family, is, okay, fine. These black Hebrew Israelites tell me we're the same people. Right? They said we're the same people. Okay, so sounds good. Let me compare your history and I'm going to see if it's true. And we found out that it's not. So now, I'm going to show this to y'all real quick. This guy's from India, but he says something important. We're going to run for like 4 minutes, okay? And then I'm going to move on. This is the last section, by the way. We got this one, a few minutes on the other video, and then I'm going to finish it with the absolute beautiful vision that the Most High allowed me to see, man. And I want to show you the class. And I know some of you brothers have seen it. Those of you guys that are new, by the way, we got 475 subscribers. Thank you all for at least, trusting me. And for you haters, thank you too. Thank you for watching and saying you don't learn from me, which I know you do. The fact is this, man. I think I've put my work in, and Lord willing, the Most High sees what I do. I'm not trying to mislead nobody, man. I'm just trying to show y'all facts, not feelings. Facts, not feelings. Whether you look like me or not, I'm going to call you out if you've done what you've done. You used to say conquistadors used to look like us, right? So I'm going to call you out for that. So when I found out about those other ones, I'm going to call them out too. So listen, there's no favoring here. There's no narrative behind this channel. I see what I see and I share it. And that's the way it goes. Let's continue. We're almost done. We got about an hour and 20 minutes.
or land.
Listen to what this man says. He's going to talk about certain people, certain migrations, and certain people that are actually Jews still to this day. But for some reason, none of you guys are even mentioning it. If I'm not mistaken, I'm the only one in the first one who started showing you guys that we migrated from east to west. So ask yourself, those other people that are showing you guys, these black Hebrew Israelites, they're saying that we went around Africa. How can you prove that we went across the sea? You can't trace that. And anyone else trying to teach you something else? Okay, how did we get here? Ask them that. How we got here? And don't use what I showed, because y'all don't believe me anyways. Let's go.
That it was home to the Jews since the time of Moses, and the freeing of the slaves from the pharaohs of Egypt and walking through the Sinai, and the references are there to his movement in the Old Testament, which is the Torah, and even in the Quran. Plus, it is a recognized fact that the residents of that area historically were the Jewish people, not as a people who follow Judaism. I'm not talking of religion. I'm simply talking of people. For example, the Persians are a people, or the Arabs are a people, or the Indians are a people. That is how the Jews are a people who lived in this area, but were, as monotheists, were a thorn in the side of the Romans or even the Persians, who at different times invaded the territory and destroyed the temples, and they got scattered around the globe, to the extent that some of them sought refuge in southern India as well, where near Cochin there is still a synagogue to their name. They elsewhere in Mumbai or in Karachi or even in Peshawar, which is northwest area, they were known as the Mumbai Karachi people are known as the Bani Israel. And then there were Jews even living in the northwestern territories of India, in Peshawar, which is now in Pakistan, who were driven there after the Russian Revolution or during the Second World War. So they were scattered around the world, but there has always been a Jewish population in that area. Now, as far as historically is concerned, this is their territory, just as the territory of Persia is for Persians, or Arabia is for the Arabs. However, in the year 636, I'm trying to cut it short, that's the first time that the Arabs invade this place. And our Muslims are quite proud of the fact that the second caliph, that is Umar, or Hazrat Umar as we say, led an army and occupied those territories, and on top of the Jewish temple built a ramshackle mosque, a wooden structure that would later be referred to as Masjid-e-Aqsa, because there are references of what Muslims believe is the flight of Prophet Muhammad to the skies, and they say the steed or the horse on which he was stopped over in Masjid-e-Aqsa. But the masjid that they call Masjid-e-Aqsa was built much later.
So I wanted to show you this because, as you can hear, he's talking about Jews in India. Jews in India. But none of you guys, most of you guys, as soon as you heard black people in America, they're saying, oh, you guys ran to them, bro. We got raza that looks super white, bro. And they're saying they look totally African. Hey, look, man. I think I've done at least my job. Because when I came and I started this channel, my goal was to show you guys how beautiful we are as a people. And now I'm glad. At first I was kind of getting upset because I started noticing it. Because, me and a brother were talking about, now everybody wants to be Mexicans now, man. Before it was like, Chicano, I'm Chicano. I don't even look Mexican. Mexicans don't even like me. Before it was that, and all of a sudden everybody's Mexican now. Now everybody wants to be Mexicas now. I've done my work. Maybe I've given you guys something. You need to love who you are. And treat truth. Don't go and do, favor for people. Now, I showed you several books. The Golden Age of the Moors, the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, The New Voyage to Italy, Jews and Muslims of British America, The Lost Tribes and Myth, The Sails of Hope, and then The Jews and the Moors of Spain. Okay? So I've showed you guys enough material to prove my point, why I see things for what they are. So now, we're going to hear it from a rabbi himself who says who these other converts are. So we see some converts that are Sephardic, and now we're going to hear about these other converts that are Khazars. Okay? So let's continue, and we're almost done. After this, I'm going to show you guys the last session of the class. All right, later, and well, not later, but I'll be around. I have no association with this man. I just happened to have the video. I never talked to him, never spoke to him. There was a time where he was teaching black folks that they were Israel, and now he's not. Fopi was all in love with this guy. Hey, Fopi, where you at? I know you guys like to talk crap. You never hit the link. You sent one guy one time here. I smashed the shit out of him, and you never sent him back. So maybe you're here. Maybe you're listening. Maybe you're one of those 8. Y'all can get it, man. All of you guys can get it. It don't matter no more. I played too nice for y'all. Let's go.
I mean, maybe some from Levi, etc. So, question is this: we know historically that we converted 2 major kingdoms. We converted a kingdom in Yemen called the Himyarite Kingdom, where we had a king in the 5th century who accepted Judaism. His whole kingdom converted. We then converted another kingdom in Khazaria in the Caspian Sea region called Khazaria at the time, or also known as Al-Qusr. Those people, or Qasr, those people from that region, they converted into wholesale Judaism. Joseph was the name of their king. We had a council.
By the way, the books that I showed you guys, because I didn't want to get into it, but is it this one? I was reading this book earlier. No, it wasn't this one. Let me see. Give me a second. One of these books. Oh, no, this is another class. Shit, my bad. I got a few in mind already, family. I'm like already ahead. I'm already ahead of the classes. If I'm not working or spending time with my family, I'm studying. That's just what I'm doing. That's what I do. If I'm not working, I'm studying with my family. So anyway, I'm studying or I'm with my family. Check this out. In one of these books, it actually explains that, and I think it's this one. Hold on, I was reading it. Let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll give you guys the name. Get out the way. Origins? Is it this one? Maybe I'll show it on Saturday. But it was explaining that whole story. How Joseph and hold on, maybe it's this. Maybe it's here. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, it goes right here. Here it goes right here. That's right. So in this book, The Sails of Hope, on page 64, he's talking about the letter between them. That this servant of this caliphate, he has a chance to speak to some of these people. Okay. You see, it says here, in this connection, we must tell the story of Hasdiah ibn Shabrut and Joseph, king of the Khazars. It takes us back to the middle of the 10th century. I'm glad I actually read it because it connects to the video after this one. And the court of the caliph who ruled Cordoba. So this guy here, a Muslim Jew, and got well together with Arab kingdom in Spain. So this, he's kind of giving us a history. So this guy came from a prestigious Jewish family of Cordoba. He knew Hebrew, Arabic, and above all, Latin, the diplomatic language of age. So he has this connection with this king and Khazar. Here's where the conversation goes. Right? If you read this book, go borrow it from, matter of fact, I'll give you guys a link. Read the book. Read the page 64, 63, I think. Let me see how far I go back. Yeah, let me see. Maybe Khazar. Oh, no, it was spelled wrong. Oh, shoot. Didn't write right? All right, let me do 64. Just start like 63, 64, 65. Okay? If you start reading there, speaking about this relationship, sending letters back and forth, and he's saying that there are converts. Watch this. I think page 867. In 1723, the Byzantine Emperor Leo attempted to convert all the Jews in his realm to Christianity. Jews, refugees, mostly merchants, craftsmen, and physicians, put into the kingdom of the Khazars and settled there. In the middle of the 8th century, Khazar ruler Shagan Bulan adopted the Jewish religion, and his nobles followed his example. Both the Caliph of Baghdad and the Emperor of Constantinople had previously made the effort to convert the Khazars in Islam and Christianity respectfully. Among the Khazars themselves, the tradition persisted that Bulan, after having studied all three religions, had decided to favor the religion in which the two others were rooted. And then you see how all of his kings in his kingdom started changing their names. Okay, so I'm glad I actually remember that. So let's continue.
Counselor or a council to the king in Spain and Al-Qusr, those people, or Qasr, those people from that region, they converted into wholesale Judaism. Joseph was the name of their king. We had a counselor or a council to the king in Spain and Ibn Shiprut, and he basically wrote to one of the people and asking the question that where do you people come from?
That you see what he's talking about? He's basically referencing this guy right here, Brut. Right? He's like, hey, well, who are you? Who you come from? What's going on, man? How you keeping the law, Zach? How you keeping the law, Zach? Has been Sirprut. You see that? He said his name. Watch.
The king in Spain and Ibn Shiprut, and he basically wrote to one of the people and asking the question that where do you people come from? Who are you? And did the kingdom, we heard that the whole kingdom converted to Judaism. And so the person responded back, yes, that our king is called Joseph. Yes, we all converted. Yes, this is the situation. And so therefore, we know that a lot of the people of Caucasian skin tone that came into what today is termed Ashkenazi Jews, they came out of what's called the Caspian region. And today you'll find those Jews, today you'll find them in Ukraine, you'll find them in Russia, you'll find them probably in Eastern Europe, like this country, Vienna, Austria.
It is right here on this page. Watch this. After numerous detours, has the letter actually reached the Kagan Joseph, the king of the Khazars, whose residence lay on an island in Volga. I want you guys to remember these words because the next video that I'm going to show you is going to go deep into the 13th warrior and the book called The 13th Tribe. And it's talking about the Khazars, the Volgars, all of these guys. You're going to see some weird stuff. Remember the brother had said, they don't even shower. We're going to see it right now. It says the authenticity of Joseph replies, or at any rate, the version of it that has come down to us remains subject of scholarly controversy. According to the text, but technically everything should be at this point. Nobody can prove anything. You can't go back in time. A Jewish scholar of Joseph's kingdom composed an answer likewise in Hebrew. The Kagan informed Hasdiah that the Khazars were not descendants of the 10 tribes, but that had been converted to Judaism. Their kingship were with the Avars, Bulgars, Savites, and other tribes that had formerly lived in Scythia and later settled along the Danube. In this letter, Joseph named all the kings of the Khazars, who since their conversion had borne Hebrew names. Hezekiah, Manasseh, Hanegat, You can see it all. You can see it all. The Kagan also wrote that he was in communication with Jews in Jerusalem and in Babylonian academies. He ended an invitation to Hasdiah Abin Sabrut to come to the kingdom of the Khazars. Kingdom of the Khazars. Imagine that. Mysticism had struck deep roots among the Jews of Spain. Why? Because obviously they had heard, we need to go to the lost tribes of Israel. But no, they weren't. But they kept it. They kept that concept. So now, who are these Khazars? What nation of people are they related to? You know what I found? I don't know if I want to bring it out right now. Should I? Okay, maybe I'll do it another time because here, maybe it's here. You see, I have this other book that technically puts these guys with Gog and Magog. But let's continue.
You'll find them in Hungary, you'll find them in other parts of Eastern Europe like Poland. That's where you see a lot of white Jews. But when you go towards the Middle East, you see a lot of Jews my skin tone, not like me. Same like me, no different to me. In Yemen, no different to me. In dress code, wearing Middle Eastern type dresses. So therefore, that gives you a little bit brief history of our people. Therefore, as I explained, that Sarah, Abraham's wife, was called Sarai. And we have a history of somebody in India called Saraswati. So Saraswati, go look it up, who she was. Go look up Brahma. So therefore, ancient people, what they did, they took the name of their god upon themselves. That's why we got Abram instead of something else from Brahma. And this is why we have, for instance, we have our God, the God of Israel. As you know, Yud and He, Noah and He. So we have Yeshayahu. What is that? Isaiah the prophet who has God's names attached to him.
Did you hear his name? Yeshayahu, Yosheyahu. But Yoshe isn't Jesus or anything, it's Joshua. The way that you say it with him, it's Moshe, Yahushua Moshe. I believe it's Yahushua Moshe for the Messiah, for the MESHI-ACH. Yahushua Moshe. Okay? Not like how I say it for me. So get that right before you assume stuff.
Yirmiyah, Jeremiah the prophet, God's name attached to him. Same way the culture was that people attached the false gods' names to them. Hence why we had the term of an ancient king. If you remember Nebuchadnezzar, well, Nebu or Nebu was one of the false gods of Babylon. So therefore Nebuchadnezzar took the name of his god that he worshipped. So we can see that ancient people used the names of ancient gods they believed in. However, the people of Israel and the people of Abraham, they took the names, applied the names of the God of Israel. So when we go back, I want to also point out that Abraham had a wife.
Which is why he mentions the names, right? So he says that you take the name of your creator. So if you are, let's say, Michael, I don't know, Jeremiah, like Jerusalem. How does it say? Ishiyahu. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the reason I'm getting familiar with all this, it's not because I'm I do ask questions, family. There are some people out there that I do try to communicate with, and they were kind enough to provide us one of these books, which is the Torah, but written in Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. Now you can't find this anywhere. A brother gave me this link, one of the ones that he knows, and they're out of Mexico. Okay. Compilación y maquetación Joseph Elidad Ben Abraham. Edición de 2016 a Coruña. Nuestra ayuda está en el nombre de Yahweh, hacedor del cielo y la tierra. He did this. So I thank this brother for what he's doing. Nothing is, there's no rock that I'm not going to turn, family. At all. Now, I'm looking forward to the class on Saturday. Let's put it that way. Let's go. We're almost done.
Keturah, by the way, wasn't what you imagine. Keturah was an Arab woman. She was from the... I want to also point out that Abraham had a wife called Keturah. Keturah, by the way, wasn't what you imagine. Keturah was an Arab woman. She was from the great-grandfather called Yoktan. So therefore, she was married to Abraham from Abraham's matrilineal side. Whilst Abraham's wife, Sarai, known as Sarah, she came from Abraham's patrilineal side, from the father's side, as you will read about it in the book of Genesis. So I hope that I've cleared some confusion regards my skin color and your skin color.
Listen to this, BHIs, or all you confused dummies. Let's go.
Therefore, I'm not saying So don't get it twisted and don't get it wrong. I'm not saying that a Jew can't be black color, because we do have black Jews. But I am saying that your behavior, your character will reflect if you are truly a Jew or not. So coming back to the question of who is a Jew today, well, most of you think that a Jew is somebody of a race and that's it, he is part of Israel because he's called a Jew. No, the term Jew applies to anybody, any tribe of Israel out of the 12 tribes, and it means somebody who's consecrated to God. Whilst you might mistake it for somebody who is, a dweller of Judea or Jerusalem, for argument's.
Damn, that's woo! I love that he said that. I didn't even catch it until now. So he's saying, hey, just because you live there, that'll make you. Now, again, I've showed you guys the land of Shem, which is why it's important to understand who Abraham is. This is why BHIs or all these other nations want to take Abraham away from Africa, because it doesn't, no les conviene. The farther they are away from Abraham, the better it is for them to teach their doctrine. Because Abraham came out of the Ur of the Chaldees. Okay? It is not just in Judith. It's also in Joshua. The last chapter, he's talking about this and saying, Joshua 24:23, I took your fathers and I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood and led him through the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac. Verse 2, and Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time. Even Terah, the father of Abraham, which Terah didn't keep the laws, by the way, and the father of Nachor, who didn't keep the laws either, and they served other gods in the Ur of the Chaldees. So if they're saying the Ur of the Chaldees, well, that's close to India, right? Brahma, Savatthi. That's why I'm telling y'all that whole concept of chakra, 7 level, it's wicked in a sense because it's away from the teachings of the Most High. It's only a portion of his understanding. You're not going to get this understanding or wisdom by going about all these other books and creating these theories. No, that doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You don't add or subtract. It doesn't work like that. This is why you Christians, I'm gonna tackle you now, you're dummies by saying Abraham. Well, guess what? Abraham wasn't keeping the laws of God. Abraham was still a Hebrew, but Abraham circumcised himself. Have you, Christians? Have you circumcised yourself? Since you claim Abraham all the time. Why doesn't BHI explain that these guys came from the Ur of the Chaldees? No les conviene. Because that means that they're going to have to explain the fact now that their so-called, their book, or their doctrine, that people from India are Elamites, they got it 100% wrong. 100% wrong. But hey, you know what? They got no schools, no camps, got major schools in like all in Central, South, or Mexico. They really got nothing in Europe, nothing in Middle East, but they got a lot in Africa. So again, what are you doing? I'll give you an example, family. If let's just say that it is real, I'm Mexican, right? Like, let's say there's just facts. I'm Mexican. If I go and have a baby in Africa, does my kid stop being Mexican? If I go live in China and I have a baby with a Chinese woman, obviously it's of the father, are those kids not Mexican anymore? No. Abraham is of the Ur of the Chaldees. He ain't African. So ask these people, how come Abraham was serving other gods, man? If you're a teacher, you should be able to explain this with your own understanding, not regurgitating shit. And see, most of these people that are out here supposedly making some videos, channels, whatever, they're not giving you guys good food, family. Hey, listen, if that's the case, I can create a WWE channel and you guys can watch people debate all day, every day. Talk about nonsense of all kinds of doctrines. Like I said before, when I first started this channel 2 years ago, I saw the same shit. And I'm still seeing the same shit today. No progress. No progress. Once again, you need to know this book because now you're able to go and touch and say, oh, I know what you mean, bro. So this guy may be our people. Or we may not be his people and he may be Israel. You know what I'm saying? You guys stop trying to say you know for a fact. And just because I show you my DNA and it puts me right there, smack bottom in the middle, that still don't make me secure and make me feel like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm an evil man. No, I'm still watching my ass. I still repent. I still make mistakes, and I still hope that he forgives me because I believe he has. That's my faith. I believe he has. So I hope. That's all I got. This channel was never about black folks or Hispanic folks or white folks. It was never about that. It was about my church in this continent. Let's go.
No. So the term has developed. The term developed and modified itself over time from 17th century onwards, and it became like a race of people. But actually, the term Jew, when it applies to us, it means that we are consecrated to God, the God of Israel. That's really what the term really means. It's got nothing to do with what tribe I belong to. It doesn't mean that I belong to the tribe of Judah, which most people make a mistake when they say, oh, Jew means, oh, he belongs to the tribe of Judah. Not really, because a Jew.
And that's why I tell y'all, why are you guys tribe tripping, bro? Why are you guys tribe tripping? What the hell? Asher, Judah, Issachar, Naphtali, it don't matter. Ephraim, and no offense to you, Boricua brothers, but if you're still claiming that you're Ephraim, but you don't believe in the 12-tribe chart, why are you claiming that you're Ephraim? Just saying.
Jew can belong to the tribe of Benjamin, or Judah, or Reuben, or some of the other tribes that we have. Hence why I think that's another fallacy to say that all Jews belong to the tribe of Judah. Another convoluted idea that you see out there that most Christians and churches think in their heads. And of course also the so-called people in America who think they are Jews, such as the black Hebrews,
who think they are Jews and are not. Even he said it himself. 2:9 doesn't apply to you, BHIs. 3:9 does. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. You know why I know that you're verse 3:9? Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, because they love this expression. Who likes doing that? The BHIs. You see, for signs and for wonders. For signs and for wonders. And that's why Job 11:6 says this, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom. That they are double to that which is. The class I got going on Saturday, I know that a lot of us know about Revelation 13, and it's talking about the 10 kingdoms and all that. And I'm going to show you guys the 10 kingdoms that we're traditionally familiar with. But I'm seeing something on a spiritual level that I think we need to see. Because I think it's clear as day who it's talking about. Because remember, Revelation is also talking about a woman, a doctrine, a spirit, a teaching, a blasphemous religion or religions. Anyways, let's go.
Whilst most of those are nothing but pure Gentiles. Idea that you see out there that most Christians and churches think in their heads. And of course also the so-called people in America who think they are Jews, such as the black Hebrews, whilst most of those are nothing but pure Gentiles.
Damn. Hold.
Decir.
This is funny. Let me hear this again.
Of course also the so-called people in America who think they are Jews, such as the black Hebrews, whilst most of those are nothing but pure Gentiles.
Damn. He that believeth on me. Damn. He said, you guys are Gentiles. Yeah, but tell that to Fopi. They'll get all butt hurt. I wonder why Fopi doesn't show this video no more, man. They're all up on that guy's jock. Now all of a sudden they don't want to show it. You're a joke. Anyways, so let's finish it off. We got 1 hour of this. In case you guys haven't seen it,
heard about it? Who hasn't? BHI's bring it all out. Bring it out. Yeah, this is Amalek, man. This is Amalek. Okay. But they never really, I don't know, man. I don't care. I'm not going to compare myself. I'm going to show you what I see and then, whatever. So in this book, they're so evil. I'm going to show you why. Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to go over this book here. I know you guys have heard about it. This book, right? You guys have heard about it. Who hasn't? BHI's bring it all out. Bring it out. Yeah, this is Amalek, man. This is Amalek. Okay. But they never really, I don't know, man. I don't care. I'm not going to compare myself. I'm going to show you what I see and then, whatever. So in this book, this guy, what's his name? Arthur Koestler. The story goes in a nutshell that he was trying to prove that he was the real people of the book. Found out that they're Khazars. Found out that they come from the, mountainous ranges, Caucasus Mountains, the Aspen Seas, all them territories up aboard by Russia, all that, right? Cold, foggy, mountainous ranges. You don't really see a lot of like fruit like ours. You know what I mean? It's like very cold. Obviously there's like those old movies, like Lord of the Ring type, like that kind of weather. Very humid. I mean, very damp, I guess, cold, whatever, moist. Not colorful, So anyways, in this book, he starts identifying his search. Now, I find it interesting because in this book, he points this guy out. Page 35. And it says, this is the book of Ahmad. Hold on, I'm sorry, family. This is the book of Ahmad, Ibn Fadlan, Ibn Al-Abbas, Ibn Rasid, Ibn Hamad. Let me repeat that again. Matter of fact, let me get out the screen so you guys can see it. All right? Watch this. This is the book of Ahmad Ibn Fadlan, Ibn Al-Abbas, Ibn Rasid, Ibn Hamad, an official in the service of General Muhammad Ibn Sulaiman, the ambassador of a Caliph Muqtadir to the king of the Bulgars, in which he relates what he saw in the land of the Turks, the Khazars, the Rus, the Bulgars, the Bashkirts, and others, their varied kinds of religions, the history of their kings, and the conduct of many walks of life. Again, Khazars, but remember this name. Ahmed, Ibn Fahlan, Ibn Hamad, Ibn Rashid, Ibn Hamad. And things were not always thus. Now, why am I saying that? Check it.
I am Ahmed ibn Fahlan, ibn Al-Abbas, ibn Rashid, ibn Hamad. And things were not always thus. I am Ahmed.
I recommend that you guys watch the entire movie, but use spiritual eyes now. Okay, let's go.
Ahmed ibn Fahlan, ibn Al-Abbas, ibn Rashid, ibn Hamad. And things were not always thus.
Okay, you see that? You see that right there, family? Woo! Right. So you're like, wait a minute, that's the same thing that book said. Yeah. This book here, right, has that same name there. So that movie is actually referencing a real person. This is the book of Ahmad, Ibn Fadlan, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Rashid, Ibn Hamad. And he says, and things were not always thus. Now, I don't know if he goes on to he catches this, but he says what he is. But
But they dramatize it that he was sent because I guess he was sleeping with a king's wife. So out of jealousy, they sent him somewhere else, right? But that's not the case. He was there to explore, to understand these people's ways. So let's listen in again, right? So we're understanding who these guys, who are, wait, like for example.
Bruh. Wait a minute. Who are you?
¿Quién eres, güey? ¿Quién eres, güey? You know what I mean? Like, who are you people, man? You guys over there claiming to be you, the people of the Bible, but yet your ways are so wicked. Like, I mean, you're just, how can you be? So we're understanding now who they are, because I'm using their material and I'm just basically playing their chess board. I'm sorry, I'm just better than you guys. Well, let's go.
I am Ahmed ibn Fahlan, ibn al-Abbas, ibn Rashid, ibn Hamad. And things were not always thus. At one time, I was a poet in the greatest city in the world. Life was easy, and I lived without care. The land of the Tosublan, a country.
Now we see there that it changes. So again, that's important to understand. Like, why are you showing me this, man? Why are you showing me this? Just follow, okay? Just be patient. So now, this particular movie has these people in here, okay? These guys are the Venlum or something like that. These are the people that he's going to encounter. People that live in the caves, Caucasus Mountains. Okay, I'm only showing y'all. I know this is nothing new, but I'm trying to show you the spirit of these people. Okay, like why would they do that? So now, let's go to the. So we saw that particular part, right? That's page 35. Now, let's learn a little bit about these people here. Their ways, very disgusting. Page 37, they are, sorry, my bad, fam, my bad. Hold on a second, get out the way, dude. Come on. All right, here goes. Page 37, they are in respect of their language and constitution, the most repulsive of men. These are the, remember the Khazars, the Bulgars, all them people up there, okay? They're not separate from this analysis, from this diagnosis, from this psychological, opinion. Their language is like the chatter of starlings. Like they talk like like Yiddish. Right? At a day's journey, there is a village called Ardwa, whose inhabitants are called Kardals. Their language sounds entirely like the croaking of frogs. Damn. They left on March the 3rd, stopped for the night in the caravan. Let me see. Okay, during one of the frequent snowstorms, even Fahlan, even Rashid, even Hamad, right? All that goes. And this is what not always does that. Even Fatlan rode next to a Turk who complained, "What does the ruler want from us? He is killing us with cold. If we knew what he wants, we would give it to him." Even Fahlan says, all he wants is that you people should say, "There is no God save Allah, except Allah." The Turk laughed. If we knew that it is so, we should say so. There are many such incidents where even Fadlan reports without appreciating the independence of the mind which they reflect. Nor did the envoy the Baghdad court appreciate the nomadic tribesmen's fundamental contempt for authority. The following episode also occurred in the country of the powerful Guz Turks.
who paid tribute to the Khazars, a powerful nation. Yes, these people here, these Israelis from Russia, from Poland, yeah, that's who they are. Okay, that's who they are. People were afraid of these guys. Why? Because you see it now. They don't give a damn about children. That's very clear, I think. So, let me close this up here real quick, because I guess my camera's dead. Whatever. The next morning, one of the Turks met us. He was ugly and built, dirty in appearance, contemptible in manner, base in nature. And we were moving through a heavy rain. Then he said, "Halt." Then the whole caravan of 3,000 animals and 5,000 men halted. Then he said, "Not a single one of you is allowed to go on." We halted, then obeying his orders. Then we said to him, "We are friends of the Kudar king, viceroy." He began to laugh and said, "Who is the Kudar king? I shit on his beard." Then he said, "Bread." I gave him a few loaves of bread. He took them and said, "Continue your journey. I have taken pity on you." The logic, right? The democratic method of the gods practiced with. I don't think I actually. Yeah, I did. It says here. Okay, here it goes. It gets more interesting. I'm just kind of giving you a little history of these people here. Don't get me wrong, family. Why do you think they study the Talmud and do all of that gory shit? Yeah, I don't even know, man. That whole concept about them, Pizzagate or whatever, that lady, I don't remember her name, the lady, like she supposedly invites them to parties where they can drink blood. It's no joke. It's in their nature. We just have to identify them. What's wrong with that, man? They are nomads and have houses of felt. They stay for a while in one place and they move on. Ooh, damn. They were in Russia. They were in Germany, France. They were big. They go everywhere they go. They get kicked out. One can see their tents dispersed here and there all over the place, according to nomadic customs. Now, you would think that they went back to Jerusalem and that they would actually improve the homes, right? They're like, man, yes, we got all the technology, but we're just going to improve the homes. They look like shit. Although they led a hard life, they behave like donkeys that have lost their ways. You see, family, why don't call yourself stupid Issachar? It's actually insulting. It's not a compliment. The way that they teach it is definitely not a compliment. It's an insulting with an insulting undertone. They have no religion which would link them to God, nor are they guided by reason. They do not worship anything. This is the Khazars, okay? These converts. Instead, they call their headmen lords. When one of them consults a chieftain, he's asked, "Oh Lord, what shall I do in this or matter?" The course of action they adopt is decided by the taking counsel among themselves. But when they have decided on a measure and are ready to carry it through, even the humblest and lowest among them can come and disrupt that decision. Check this out. The sexual mores of the Guz and other tribes were a remarkable mixture of liberalism and savagery. Why do you think they have those books that say you can have sex with children, family? I think this is a joke. It's the spirit of them. Their women wear no veils in the presence of their men or strangers. Nor do the women cover any part of their bodies in the presence of people. One day, we stayed at the place of a Guz and were sitting around. His wife was also present. As we conversed, the woman uncovered her private parts and scratched them. Can you believe that? Imagine sitting there with your neighbor. "Hey, how you doing, sir? Yeah, or you go visit somebody. You're trying to I don't know. You're trying to sell blades or knives or some shit. And you're over there conveying to the man, like, yes, sir, you know what I mean? And this knife and cuts and this and that. And this lady just goes, hey, how you doing? Okay, great. And she just sits there, opens her legs, shows her hairy ass crotch and starts scratching it. Damn.
Who are you?
You are the Khazars. Hypocrites. As we conversed, the woman uncovered her private parts and scratched them, and we all saw it. Thereupon, we covered our faces and said, may God forgive me. The husband laughed and said to the interpreter, tell them we uncovered it in your presence so that you may see and restrain yourselves. But it cannot be attained. This is better than when it is covered up and yet attainable. So adultery is alien to them, yet when they discover that someone is an adulterer, they split him in two halves. Damn. Oh, man. This they do by bringing together the branches of two trees, tie them to the branches, and then let them trees go so that the man tied them is torn in two. Didn't they use that here? Makes you think about it. He does not say whether the same punishment was meted out to the guilty woman. Later on, when talking about the Volga Bulgars, he described an equally savage method of splitting adulterers in two, applied to both men and women. Yet he notes with astonishment, Bulgars of both sexes swim naked in their rivers and have a little bodily shame as the Guz. I'm not saying that he said it. Check this out. As for homosexuality, you know how they say that the rabbis bite that thing off in the circumcision? Let me show you. Actually show you. So you don't think we are lying here, because that's one thing we don't do. The scriptures say, prove all things. Prove all things. I'd like to believe that I like to prove all things. I try to prove all things. Let me see. Here goes.
And I've always believed that is mentally ill through genetics, possibly inbreeding, most likely. And also, it's a congenital situation when it comes to the Jews. Or maybe most are born mentally ill. Now, that doesn't mean that they cannot function in other areas, and they cannot function even at a high level.
Sure, you know why I had to block the video that way. But anyways, let's go. It's not far-fetched. As for homosexuality, which in Arab countries was taken as a matter of course, even Fadlan says that it is regarded by the Turks as a terrible sin. But in the only episode he relates to prove his point, the seducer of a beardless youth. Damn, bro. You see that, family? Do we not hear about that happening? Now, in case you don't know this, right? Check this out. I'll show you. Let me show you something. Watch this. Diaspora pedophile increasingly use Israel as a haven activist charge. The message came in Hebrew English, a warning to the citizens of Israel that monitor child abuse has received credible information that Redacted has plans to return to Israel in early November. Basically, he's saying that a lot of people who are pedophiles, they go to Israel. Really? So it says, but only episode he relates to prove his point. The seducer of a beardless youth gets away with a fine of 400 sheep. Accustomed to the splendid baths of Baghdad, our traveler could not get over the dirtiness of the Turks. The Gus do not wash themselves after defecating. Ugh. So they don't clean their ass. Or urinating. Ugh. nor do they bathe after seminal pollution. Oh, hell, man. Oh, my God, family. They're walking around smelling like pescado, homeboy. Damn. Oof. For God's sake, man. Somebody died down there. They refuse to have anything to do with water, particularly in winter. Didn't we know the story about Spaniards having the same shit? And what have we learned about Spaniards being who? You don't get away from me. When the Gus commander-in-chief took his luxurious coat of brocade to don a new coat the mission had brought him, right? They saw that his underclothes were fraying apart from dirt, for it is their custom never, I repeat, never to take off the garment they wear close to their bodies until it is disintegrated. The Khazars, the Amalekites, the Israelis, the ones that are blaming everybody else for their doing. It says here, another Turkish tribe, the Bakshirs, shave their beards and eat their lice. Bakshirs shave their beards and eat their lice. They search the folds of their undergarments. You mean they even dig in their underwear too? You know, and all that disintegrated undergarment? Damn, that shit is old. And crack the lice with their teeth. Holy shit.
Wait a minute.
Delicioso. That tastes good. Hey, imagine having some of that with tapatio sauce, man. Damn. I'm just kidding, fam. When even Fadlan watched a Baskir do this, the latter remarked to him, Delicioso. Hey, I did a class not too long ago, and I showed reports, articles, comments from women talking about, well, specifically in Europe, but these men don't wash their ass. They don't even wipe their ass. Like they lay down with them in bed and they leave marks of caca in the bed, bro. Again, it hasn't changed. I'm like, bro, does it really, is it this complicated to like tell you guys? Are we gonna really ignore the scriptures? Ecclesiastes 3:15, that which has been is now, and that which is to be had already been, and God required that which is the past. Deuteronomy 28:46. Let me read it real quick. It says here, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And what are we seeing here? A spirit. The way of certain people, how they conduct themselves. And in the continuing classes, we're going to touch on their religion too. So this is a process here. Again, I do things for a reason. Let's continue. Y'all are nasty people. We're understanding who they are. That I'm just showing you who they are. So don't be surprised. Hey, remember, if thou seest the oppression of the poor and perverting of judgment, marvel not at the matter. Ecclesiastes 5:8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in the providence, marvel not at the matter. Why? Because of who they are. All in all, it is not an engaging picture. Our fastidious traveler contempt for the barbarian was profound, but it was only aroused by their uncleanliness and what he considered as indecent exposure of the body. The savagery of their punishments and sacrificial rites leave him quite indifferent. Thus he describes the bogus punishment for manslaughtering, which detached interest without his otherwise frequent expression of indignation. Let's see. Is there anything important here? Let's see. Hold on. Let me see here. About pagan religion, he has little to say, but the Baxier's Fellis cult aroused his interest, for he asked through his interpreter, one of his native, the reasons for his worshiping a wooden penis. Now you know why they've been practicing circumcision. Check this out. Second sentence. Because I issued from something similar and know of no other creator who made me. He then adds that some of them, the Bashkirs, believe in 12 deities. A god for winter, another for summer, one for rain, one for wind, one for the trees, one for man, one for the horses, one for water, one for the night, one for the day, a god of death, one for the earth. Well, that God who dwells in the sky is the greatest among them, right? But we know from scripture, it says here to, which one am I looking for? Deuteronomy 4 and 3. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord thy God had destroyed them from among you. So this is a connection to these people. There's a reason why I'm showing you this, because hopefully you're going to see the other class. That's why I started it this way. You see, I remember the other, like, I'll give an example. The other links I have, like these right here. Okay. So I'm going through a class here to explain something regarding this particular topic. So it was important for me to show you this, them like in the flesh, and then them in their spiritual teachings. Let's continue.
Bruh.
And notes down his reply, because I issued from something similar and no other creators who made me. Anyhow, we have seen a group among them worship snakes, a group which worships fish, and a group which worships cranes. You see this? Snakes and fish. Druids, they worship all kinds of things. 12 deities, winter, summer, rain, wind, trees, men, horses, water, night, day, death, earth. Among the Volga burghers, even Falan found a strange custom. When they observe a man who excels through their quick-wittedness and knowledge, like smart, right? They say, for this one is more besetting to serve our Lord. They seize him, put a rope around his neck, and hang him on the tree. Damn. Where he is left until he roots away. They don't like that. They want you to be base just like them. Let's see over here. The Tartars. He mentions the Tartars. That's not that important. Let's continue. I'm almost to the point. Let's do this. Look, even Fadlan describes not the simple murder of two clever people, but one of their pagan customs, human sacrifice. Snakes, fish, human sacrifice. Sound a little similar to a lot of things that we're running into, that we're being accused of, by which the most excellent among men were offered as sacrifice to God. Who holds propaganda? Who's been publishing our history for the last 500 years? This ceremony was probably not carried out by common Bulgars, but by their tabibs. We shall see the human sacrifice was also practiced by the Khazars. Gotcha, bitch. One more time. including the ritual killing of the king at the end of his reign. You see that? You're going to see something right now. We may assume that many other similarities existed between the customs of the tribes described by Ibn Fadlan and those Khazars. So this is interesting because what I'm going to show you right now, the video, it actually shows including the ritual killing of the king at the end of his reign. It says here, unfortunately, we have debarred from visiting the Khazar capital and had to rely on information collected in territories under Khazar dominion, and particularly the Bulgar court. They're feared. Khazars and Caucasus. Khazar Sea, the Caspian Sea. Even so, we were constantly reminded of the proximity of the Khazars and its potential danger. We heard the video of the guy that says who they are. They're not the real Jews. They're converts. Right? This is chapter 6. 2 basic facts emerged from our survey. The disappearance of the Khazar nation from its historic habitat. Okay? So the Khazars disappear, and the simultaneous appearance in adjacent regions to the northwest of the greatest concentration of Jews since the beginning of the diasporas. You see this right here? So, wait, hold on a second. Matter of fact, let me pause for a bit. I'm going a little bit like nonstop. My bad, family. Hey, shalom, bro. Shalom, bro. Shalom, shalom. Scattered. Kill it. Shalom. Also, for the Freemason, Catholic, Polish grave, even the Christian church have that Polish pointed architecture. They all people were at it. I know, bro. I gotta see a picture of that, by the way. Or the sundial. Yeah. Check it out. Check it out. I read this before, but I didn't really pay attention to it like this. Look at this. Two basic facts emerged from our survey. The disappearance of a Khazar nation and the simultaneous appearance in a distant region, meaning a region far to the northwest of the greatest concentration of Jews since the beginning of the diaspora. So it's basically saying that as these guys somehow disappear, these Khazars, they disappear. Simultaneously, at the same time, these other guys appear, so-called Jews. Since the two are obviously connected, historians agree that the immigration from the Khazaria must have contributed to the growth of Polish Jewry. Give me a second. Oh, let me see what you sent me, bro. Let me see.
So,
okay, you know what? Let's watch it. So it says here, since the two are obviously connected, the historian agrees that the immigration from Khazaria must have contributed to the growth of Polish Jewry, a conclusion supported by the evidence cited in previous chapters. But they feel less certain about the extent of the contribution since the size of Khazar immigration compared with the influx of Western Jews and their respective share in the genetic makeup of the modern Jewish community. You see that? Khazars have a very similar, almost 100% genetic makeup to today's so-called Jews. In other words, the fact that Khazars immigrated in substantial numbers into Poland is established beyond dispute. The question is whether they provided the bulk of the new settlement or only its hardcore, meaning its root. As it were, to find an answer to this question, we must get some idea of the size of immigration of real Jews from the West. Okay? So now, we're pointing this out. Again, I'm showing you who these guys are. The following passage on the rulers occurs just before this account of the Khazars, quoted earlier on. Okay? So check this out. Remember, family, they're trying to tell you who they are. Matter of fact, before I read that, I don't want to forget. Thank you, bro. Let's listen to this real quick.
They themselves are Gentiles. That's the funny part. They don't know it. So here you have, genetic study done at Johns Hopkins University by a Jewish MD, which you know about, and he comes up with the conclusion 97.5% of the people living in Israel that claim to have ancient blood have no Hebrew blood, come from Europe, and 80% of the Palestinians, though, there do have ancient Hebrew blood and actually have ties, legal ties to all the land. And there was no right for anybody to steal their land. And actually,
you guys hear what he said?
Let's back that up again.
Actually have ties.
Listen to it.
Have genetic study done at Johns Hopkins University by a Jewish MD, which you know about, and he comes up with the conclusion 97.5% of the people living in Israel that claim to have ancient blood have no Hebrew blood, come from Europe, and 80% of the Palestinians, though they do have ancient Hebrew blood, and actually have ties, legal ties to all the land, and there was no right for anybody to steal their land, and actually have ties, legal ties to all the land, Hebrew blood, and actually have ties, legal ties to all the land. And there was no right for anybody to steal their land. The thing is you probably don't know this, but recently there was a top secret document in Israel where it was admitted that they have no Hebrew blood. They've admitted it to themselves, and that's why they wanted to go back and take the Ukraine. That's why Victoria Nuland went in there and staged the coup to put Poroshenko. And of course, that's failing. He had that very strong, in Ukraine had this huge business with tourism and tremendous tourism trade, which has been destroyed. So the country's going broke. But so if you look at this group, every country in the world where these Judaics have been, they've been kicked out one way or another. And there's a whole lot of secret history about World War II. None of it is the way we've been told, as you know. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. But what I wanted to do is investigate, find out why these well-organized Jewish groups, there's a worldwide network of them, why they have so much power. They have access to Mossad intel files. Mossad has access, all of our NSA files are downloaded to Israel, Tel Aviv by satellite. They have full access to all the NSA raw feeds. But what Israel doesn't know is they've been completely penetrated by Russian intel. The KGB, set up Israel as their slave state. A lot of people don't realize this. The Bolsheviks, that staged the revolution in Russia in 1917, were financed by the British bankers, as were the Nazis. And of course, you know that Hitler was a British agent, and he was mind controlled at Tavistock Institute. So the core problem always goes back to these Zionist bankers who really, they themselves are not Hebrew either. Most of them are German, but they.
Oh man, what can I tell you? What more do you want me to tell you? I will show you more, and I will tell you more. I'm being funny right now, fam. Oh man, I said it in the other class. Sometimes it feels good to be right. I don't like being right at times because my right is more of correction. And people don't like correction. Let me hold on a second.
小呀，小叶沙滩，小叶沙滩，你小呀，小叶沙滩，妈咪小呀沙滩。
The reason I'm saying that is because oh man, it just gets good. It's like it gets good. It gets good. When it gets good, and then I'll tell you this. For any of you guys that are out there and sometimes you question if the Most High is dealing with you, that is totally normal. Sometimes it feels like he's not. Sometimes it feels like he's not. But then all of a sudden, man, if you just wait, he just straight does it. Now we hear this guy saying Khazaria Mafia, blah, blah, blah. Black nobility. Oh, snap. I know you guys don't like this. Because, black nobility hates the fact that Raza is the only ones there putting them hands on them. If it wasn't for us, they'd be ruling boxing. Let's put it that way. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys because, like I said, I'm going to touch on everybody. This is a no-holds-barred channel, man. You want my attention? You got it now. You got it full 100%. Okay, so we got this book called The Lost Slaves. And we know here, this is like Fopi shit, right? Black Hebrew Israelite, dumbass stuff. There's Judah. It's Ouida in Africa. No seas pendejo. Don't be dumb, bro. Because in case you didn't know this, way before this time, it was called Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Not even Ouida, Judah, or Jerusalem, and none of that. But anyhow, that's not my point. Here in this book, watch what he says. Okay, so we're talking about people. A couple things I'm going to cover here real quick. The Vatican really knows the truth What do they know? And you guys are like, oh, you're right. They're black. Oh my God, Jesus is black. Look, the Virgin Mary is black. Okay, sounds good. But if you're going to base it off the Bible says that the people that are going to be conquered by strangers from afar with another language, it says, verse 30, Deuteronomy 28:36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou, Negro, nor thy fathers have known, Negro. And there you shall serve other gods, wood and stone, Negro, Fopi, ISUPK, Sakari, all of you guys. Why are you even showing this shit? To me, it tells me that you knew Christianity. Are you contradicting yourselves? It says that you know your fathers have known. The Vatican really knows the truth. What? That black people were pushing Christianity? Pope John Paul II praying to the so-called black baby, the Virgin Mary. But they want to go here and say that Negroes, the so-called African Americans here in America, that they were going to be scattered across all the world, and that they're going to serve other gods that their fathers have not known. So that means that you're going to serve gods that your fathers didn't know, but you're saying that your fathers know the truth. Okay, that's one. This book came out 2 months after the Kyrie Irving situation. How could you print this all within 2 months? And then for all you other ones, because again, you don't want to listen to me because you hate me. It's not even the fact that you want to really learn about the book. No, you just hate. Hate. Should have done that video. Hate. You hate me, but you sure as hell use the material that I teach. It's pretty beautiful, man. So it says here, the 12 tribes of Israel, in Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 23. Who is Judah, my brothers? Who do they say Judah is? So the black Hebrew Israelites say that Sephardics are our people, and some Hispanics, so-called, are saying that Sephardics are our people too. So the Negros say that Sephardics are black. The other ones say that they're not. They both exclude the Khazars and say, oh, F the Khazars. I mean, are we back to the 12-type chart? Is that really what you're teaching? Are you in secret teaching the 12-tribe chart? That Hispanics are the northern kingdom and the Sephardics are the southern kingdom. That's no different than BHI saying that Hispanics are the northern kingdom and the blacks are the southern kingdom, because they also say that blacks ruled Europe and that those were Jews. They call them Sephardims, Sephardics. Make sense. You want my attention? Now you got it. You see, I got a lot of arsenal, and some stuff I don't bring out because I don't want that. I'm not here for that. But you know what? I think everybody needs to be corrected now. In this channel, we don't bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's facts, not fictions. It's either right or not right. It's fact. It's either what you say or what you don't say. I have no ties to anybody that says, "Oh, I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna show you guys this because it makes me feel good." No. If I offend even the people that I talk to on the phone, I apologize for y'all, brothers. That maybe you think that I might take some of the stuff we talk and I mentioned. No, it's not even that. What you guys believe, I hear you, but I'm still gonna teach what I teach. That's what I do. Some people misunderstand me, and that's okay. Como dice la canción, no soy moneda de oro para que todos me quieran, güey. I'm not. So again, what are you saying, Todd? Are we back to the 12 tribe chart again? I get that. I think that's what it is. So some people have never stopped teaching the 12 tribe chart. It's still here in your face. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just saying, because I'm trying to understand who I am according to the Bible, who our people are in this church or quote unquote continent according to the Bible, and who the enemy is according to the Bible. That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing. Let's continue. We're almost done.
They're the great impersonators, but they play the role as a Hofjuden. They're the Vatican bankers, and they've gained a lot of power over the world. But basically what happens is they are the cutouts for the old black nobility families in Europe that really run things.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that?
Families in Europe that really run things. These are the unspeakable families. Basically what happens is they are the cutouts for the old black nobility, the old black nobility, the old black nobility, the old black nobility family, the old black nobility families in Europe that really, for the old black nobility families in Europe that really run things. These are the.
Have I been lying? What did I say? That the Jews and the Negroes have a lot in common. And what did you guys call me? You call me a racist. When I brought out the history about the fact that Habakkuk 1:8 was talking about the black nobilities, you said I was a racist. You said I don't know the Bible. You said I'm bugged out.
Unspeakable families people do not dare talk about. It's very hard to get their names. If you do searches on the internet, they're there. They run things behind the lines. But basically, where their money comes from, they own all the financial businesses and the big corporations. And the reason that these large corporations are so interested in starting wars is because they make money off wars, the defense contractors. And of course, the big banks lend money to everybody. And if you look at what empowers the Zionists are nothing but cutouts. They're empowered by the private central bankers, the Rothschild banking system. The United States is a franchisee of it. The Federal Reserve is nothing but a franchise of it. People in the United States are being completely defrauded financially. In 1913, they passed the Federal Reserve Act, which is completely illegal, completely unconstitutional, Jim. And we're in a situation where they created real money, which is silver and gold-backed certificates, and they got rid of those bit by bit. 1971, Henry Kissinger, who's part of.
So as you can see, these guys are very well involved. Check this out. The following passage on the Rus occurred just before his account of the Khazars. They are the filthiest creatures of the Lord. In the morning, a servant girl brings a basin full of water to the masters of the house. Hold. He rinses his face and hair in it, and spits and blows his nose into the basin, which the girl then hands on to the next person. What the?
Who are you?
So the girl then hands it over to the next person, who does likewise, until all who are in the house have used the basin to blow their noses, spit, and wash their faces and hair in it. Black nobility, Canaanites, with the Khazars working together. They just trying to blame Khazars, but black Canaanites were there as well, right? Yes. Remember this right here, and it's gonna all make sense. That's why, family, when I heard this effeminate Nate the Snake, yes, I'm gonna call him that, because we got you, bro. We got you with nails painted. Gad. Got him with nails. You believe that, man? Nate the Snake with nails painted. Hold on a second. Where is it at? Here it goes, right here. Listen.
They forced us to convert to Christianity, this new form of Christianity, wherein they were God, they were Christ. Okay? The angels were white, and that the Jews Jews who had converted, the white men who had converted to being a Jew, they also had to, they were on top of us. This white men that we had used from the Caucasus Mountains to help us in our military, they also turned against us. Never trust your enemies, brothers and sisters. We were under we said, these are our allies. We said, these are our allies. We said, these are our allies. 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 And those very same allies turned against us. So again,
out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Again, it says here that this girl, going back to the story, spits, blows his nose into the basin, which the girl then hands over to the next person, who does likewise until all who are in the house have used the basin to blow their nose and spit and wash their face and hair in it. Pretty disgusting. Right? Pretty freaking disgusting, family. Page, what is it? Page 91? Right? Page 91. Check this out. So we got now, I'm trying to show you who these guys are. I'm giving you a history of who they are. Listen, do you want to try to say who we are? Well, I'm going to actually show who you are, because I actually do homework, and I'm not that bad at it. You know what I mean? Like, I actually am pretty good at research. So remember that part I told you guys about the whole, damn, this guy got mad, man. Don't be mad, bro. It's all good. He's upset. Bam. Okay, check this out, family. Watch this real quick, all right? Remember the girl? She's passing out the basin. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Here we go. Now, they try to say that it's the Viking, but I don't believe it. Because these are all one nation of people. Just different tribes, but they're all the same. Okay? Let's listen. It says here, they are the filthiest creatures of the Lord. In the morning, the serving girl brings a basin full of water to the master's house. He rinses his face and hair in it, spits and blows his nose into the basin, which the girl then hands on to the next person, who does likewise. Excuse me. Until all who are in the house have used the basin to blow their noses, spits and washes the face and hair in it. This is the book of Ahmad, Ibn Fahlan, Ibn Al-Abbas, Ibn Rashid, Ibn Hamad. And things were not always thus. Now what we're going to do is we're going to finish it off with this real quick. Not that. Not that. This right here, man. This right here. Have you guys seen this book? The Chosen People of from the Caucasus. Apparently, these guys Modern Humanity of Europe, the Fontaine-Save and Caprina, meaning French, and I think I forget what the other one is, fled southward, probably into Saharan Africa, but some Europeans, the Neanderthals, stayed behind to adapt culturally and physically to the cold. The origin of the Neanderthals are naturally in the dispute. Some anthropologists lean towards the theory that they're a uniquely European development. So Neanderthals. Page 57, that was page 56. I'm just going to kind of go over it real quick. There's some scientific history 100,000 years ago, whatever. No, not really. The Neanderthals coexisted with modern-looking people presented by the Fontaine-Save and the Caprina. The Iceman inheritance discusses the various theories of Neanderthals' origin and the details. Psychology. The basic facts about Neanderthals is that they were a cold-adapted kind of man and their physical adaptation became more extreme as the Arctic conditions of the worm. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying the worm? Watch this. Give me a second. Watch this. Watch this. Let me show you this. I can show it. Here it goes.
Web design.
I find these things very uniquely connected to conditions of the worm. They use these names, but it's hints. And I just cannot get over it. Watch this real quick.
What are the settlements to the north and upcountry?
Yes, because birds.
2 years.
2 years ago, no. And of the others, we had no word, not for some months. At night, with a drink on them.
You do not drink tonight? No, we don't drink tonight.
I find it strange because this person has blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Bring me my armor! I will stand the watch with you.
Wish. But you won't believe what... Backs to one another. I am not a warrior. Very soon, you will be.
They take the heads. In general, they adapted to the cold in exactly the same way that the other Arctic mammals have. An important part of this was as well as just called alien rule. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Neanderthals have been rather primitive looking, but they were not stupid. Their average cranial capacity exceeded the average of modern man. They had large brains, very intelligent. This big brain gave them a big head. A big head on their short and stocky body gave them a physical appearance that they would be called grotesque. Their faces were about twice as large as modern face, blah, 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 blah. Okay? I'm going to try to get through this here. The shape of Neanderthal's head was distinctive. They had a long skull which overhung the back of their neck considerably. Broad skull would tended over hang their ears. The skull usually showed two definite dips. Major cranial. Let's see, Neanderthal's head was but the most distinctive feature of Neanderthal's head was their noses. Neanderthals' noses were very large with equally large nostrils and protruded from the face like a kind of blunt beak. What do they make fun of these Jews about their nose, right? This large nose with a special adaptation to the cold. Now, it says that their feet and hands were massive and powerful, but fully human. And the Neanderthal footprint preserved in the clay of the Italian cave reveals a very short, broad foot with plantar index. Just showing you some stuff here. It says this must be explained in sufficient detail because of its crucial relevance to the Caucasian aggression in general and to the Jewish aggression in particular. So some similarities. It says Iceman Inheritance argues that the physical adaptation demanded by Ice Age climate conflicted with the sexual adaptation that had already been evolved in humanity in order to absorb the aggression caused by the time as territory conceptualization. With the Neanderthal, some of these sexual adaptations were almost wholly erased or grotesquely over-exaggerated. You know, they don't have a lot of children. Arctic animals are not only adapted to becoming plump in accordance with the Allen rule. This is, of course, can compromise one of the basic human sexual adaptations. Let me see. He's talking about Neanderthals, right? They're consistently talking about them. They're much more hairy than women. Others Neanderthal women did not have to leave their caves. It says here, Neanderthal women's buttocks and breasts probably became very enlarged or to preserve their stimulatory functions on their already plump body. Regarding the Venus figurine. The unfortunate extreme difference in sexual appearance and role among Neanderthals must have been induced an even more extreme desire repugnance or intercourse violence. This must have resulted in the altering mood and sexual desires and extreme sentimentality to rejection, aggression, and violence. They're very violent people. Even while they're having sex, I guess they say it. Great deal of aggression. There's a reason behind it. It says Neanderthal's penis must have been smaller than those among other major human genetic groups. This resulted in less tissue area for nerve, blah, blah, blah. The same time, though, Neanderthal women had very large hips because they had to give birth to babies with very large heads. Neanderthal females' pelvic bones show that they were wider in diameter than the norm for modern Europeans. A modern European pelvic can be an inch wider in internal diameter than the norm for other major genetic groups. This means that the Neanderthal's vagina were probably quite large, and this, combined with a small Neanderthal penis, could not have contributed to a happy situation in the Neanderthal sex life. I'm just reading who they are. I'm not saying it. He's saying it. It says these were Neanderthal-like people by the time Calvin Kuhn gave them the label Neanderthal Caucasoid. You're trying to tell us who we are. You got the Wabos trying to tell us who we are. Khazars are telling the Wabos, these Pan-Africanists, these West Africans, to throw a monkey in our wrench. They basically push them to tell us who we are. So what I'm doing is I'm identifying both of you, who you really are. Seditious nation, sexually progressed, what is it called? Debauchery, body count after body. That's what you guys are about. And here we see now a reason why there's a relationship between you two. I can see now why. Very perverted, by the way. It says here, southerly people began to migrate into Europe more and interbred with the remaining Neanderthals, as well as with the Neanderthal Caucasoids, who already presented a mixed population. I mean, this is science. It's what they say. I'm just reading what I'm finding. They look like Russian feet rather than English feet. Among the modern Caucasus people, some Slavs, and many Jews, one can see purely Neanderthal noses, just like the plaster reconstruction of Neanderthal faces. Reposing in the University Museum of the University of Pennsylvania, yada, yada, yada. Neanderthal brains were larger than the modern norm. Neanderthal caves had relinquished bones inscribed with lunar notions. So this is my point. See, these guys were in caves, family. They were in caves. And when you watch the movie about these guys, the 13 colonies, watch this. Check it out. Are they not in caves?
A ver, que alguien me explique.
It sounds to me like they're in caves. Ah.
Estamos aquí, oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. De Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes, si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes, si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura, somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica. Gambino, mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.